have to hit, like I can hit the old, I have your old one.
They just hit them over there whenever.
I have your old one.
Whenever they want.
Take this opportunity to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You won't be disappointed. There's lots of bangs.
What's wrong with my...
Something about bangs. Why
didn't I hear that?
Am I in the right chat here? What's up to everybody?
I just got in the chat right now.
Okay, I'm just falling in here. Right?
Yes, sir. Okay, so the market,
up yet.
like how we already, it's like we go up, we come down, right back around.
Good afternoon.
And the market is right back into here. It's not flat, but the Qs are up less than 1/4%.
Yep. Oh, we just got filled.
Chilling out just underneath VWAP. Like we're just not doing a heck of a lot, but look, the futures are underneath VWAP. And I'm thinking shorts. I did get out of my last shorts, so I'm currently flat. But the ones I'm trying to get back into, there we go. The ones I'm trying to get back into are Uber on any kind of a pop. Lyft went up on that speculation. Not speculation. There was, I guess it was a firm that said they bought a ton of it, or there was a report they bought a bunch and they didn't buy as much. Lyft went to the upside. Sympathy spike on Uber showed us a level. So I want to get back into that name. That's one. And another one is, oddly enough, weirdly, it's Palantir. I've only been long Palantir, but I feel like even though it's above 95, I'm thinking Palantir short at VWAP now because of the resistance that it's had. There's been good long opportunities on Palantir, but I'm looking to short this one back into VWAP. And there was news on Meta as well. I see a lot of people talking about, but it wasn't a mover. But Meta also, like the market's under VWAP, but kind of like barcoding. It just feels like we're about to break down. So if we get any kind of pop-up, I'm looking to get into get back into a couple of shorts that we had and just recently took off. So we'll like to see if we can't get a pop-up and then try to fade that pop. But yeah, I love that new key. Hit that like, hit that subscribe.
Get those going.
I heard the hate that GameStop was getting over there.
Were they?
Didn't Joe say he didn't trash talk GameStop?
I don't know. I mean,
no, I'm joking. It's not like I'm a.
Yeah, we'll see tonight. I mean, it could surprise. Could surprise. You know, you never.
They could make money.
Video game Take-Two Interactive's been doing nice there. We do have Grand Theft Auto coming out, so that should be a good one. Yeah, no, Palantir is tied with Amazon. I mean, I'm going to be up a little bit more on Amazon than Palantir because we don't have too many of these left, but we've just been long at 95. We just took the same trade that we written down, and we were really happy to finally do that. It does come in into 95. We talked about taking 95.50. That worked for about 30 cents. Then it just dropped right into our bid, and then it was upside at a bunch of outs. We're holding a small piece to wait to see if we do get a movement back into this area, and then we'll long again as we wait for that. We're long. We took a nice trade on IBIT that we talked about during the midday show when we had that on. And I think Joe had some of the retracement back as well off the highs of the day. Yeah, everything going good. We will do the recap, I believe, at some point. Oh, yeah, Shreve's up there. Okay, so we're
getting ready.
Yeah, no. Take your time. We have nothing to worry about.
Winston.
Tesla. Again, we got stopped at once when it broke 280, and then we waited for that volume right there to pop, and then once we waited for it to drop. If I can just zoom this up there it was right there. So we saw a similar volume spike here, and then the market moved down into the 50 period before taking off again. So we found that similar pop right there. It took us two times to get it, but then it did fade back into VWAP, and we just got a fill actually. Down there at 277.50, so it's getting into that one. Almost 250 in the money here as well. So yeah, so far so good. In a lot of these same trades, Tesla, IBIT's the new one for me. We got stopped out at a bad level for Amazon, but it's not like it was that bad. It's just gonna look bad. It broke this level there, and I was just like, you know what? We'll be underneath VWAP and we'd get out. We could have stopped out 20 cents earlier for VWAP, but we didn't. We only had less than 5% left. It was the same trade again from the morning. So yeah, I don't know. Pretty good, man. Pretty good today as we sit here. And
it's been a weird one.
Just wait to see what's going to happen. Tesla started off on the wrong foot.
Yeah, well, we're obviously going to talk about Tesla, so I don't want to delve too much into it. But like for me, it was like red because of Tesla, got back to green, then went red because of Tesla again, and then got back to flat. So, and when I say flat, like flat can mean two things in trading. Flat can mean no positions, which I'm obviously flat right now, but flat also meaning P&L flat. So you're basically at zero on the day. But I just lost my train of thought because it was something else. Oh, yeah. I've said bearish on a few things here, but wanted to mention a couple of things that are strong. Apple's up 1% and trending today. Don't know if that's going to be on the list of names that you guys wanted to cover, but it's not all blase. There are a few runners in here and some small cappers that have been going. I was in one of them, and all I have to say, because we probably won't talk about it, do not underestimate the ability for Mullen to continue to go down.
Mullen.
That should have been a way better short. Well, let's go to Sharif and see what names you want to talk about. I boldly predict number 1 will be Tesla, number 2 will be NVIDIA, number 3 will be, you think Palantir or?
I mean, I always think Palantir. There could be SMCI I was in, but maybe Amazon. Did you say Amazon?
Amazon, okay, so let's go let's go Tesla, NVIDIA, Palantir, Amazon, Amazon. What should the 5th be?
Bitcoin.
I was gonna say maybe MLGO.
Okay.
Microalgo.
We'll see.
Let's go microalgo. Those are my guesses.
Let's go see what's on the board here.
You guys got 4 out of the 5. Palantir is number 1, but a close call there. NVIDIA didn't make it onto the cut, guys. It's not up to me. But welcome, everyone, to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. The big boys, locked and loaded, ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. But the only way to get your tickers up there is to join us during the How to Trade show on midday and get into the chat and vote for your favorite tickers every day, but you've got to be a subscriber in order to engage with us. Here's a look at Palantir. There's really no specific catalyst on it today, guys, but there is this kind of military spending tailwind that we've been seeing lately. Down 1.17, but, you know, some good levels did come into play today, so good look for Palantir. Just quickly here, the overall market's mostly red. The only one that's actually green of the 4 major averages is the NQ, up about 0.5%. The ES flat to red, likewise with the Dow down 0.16, and the Russell, the worst of the 4 guys, down 0.5%.
It's a pretty good stock for me today. We had, watching the 100 break, no, this is from yesterday's, this is yesterday's sticky note. I wanted just to show you guys that we did have Palantir on the sticky note down at 95 bucks. So it doesn't matter, you guys know it's there, we'll find it later. It was just yesterday's low, right? I mean, it's not the very low from yesterday because we got going, but this was just a key level that held yesterday, came back into play again, that's it. And I feel real good about this trade because we also written down, maybe I'll have to find it for you, but we also wrote down, of course, to be as patient as we possibly could into that level, right? And so here it is right here. So this is what we did, and we were actually finally, come on, chart, get over there. Right there, watch out for the 100 break, that didn't happen, or dip into 95, be patient, right? So that's what we had written down, and it actually worked out for us. So we're pretty happy with the way that all turned out here today. We waited. Like normally I would have been right here, 95.80 or so, because it was the sort of the pre-market lows and that little bottom that was made before, and you know, chasing it and all that kind of stuff. Like it's just exactly what I do. But we were waiting this time for 95, and it actually came through and turned out to be a big stock. So yeah, really happy with the way it's going. I'm gonna try one more time there with the same stop. So yeah, it's always gonna be around that 95 area. I'll tell you exactly. I think I changed it to 95. Yeah, so it's at 95 proper now. So if it breaks below, because I'm in at the quarters, so I'm gonna buy it again. And that's just something that I like to do. If we ever fall into a key level, get long a little ahead of it or get short a little in front of it. That way you don't miss the trade, and hopefully you can get it on the way back up. So that's my trade there on Palantir. It's a good one. We'll see if it can go even a little further than where we are now.
Yeah, I only 95 a couple times, but I like 96 as well. It was sort of the afternoon breakout price. We had the support level. It did an initial dip. Like the best long for me came at that first dip where you immediately held 96 and was able to get some on the way down. It bounced, was able to get some on the way back upside, but there was just no break. You sort of failed the high break. Hindsight being 2020, you could say, well, if high break fail, you should short the stock, but whatever. Just continued to go long. It ended up with Mullen being better than it for me for obvious reasons, because Mullen was a clean move to the upside. But I'm sort of thinking after it broke that trend at VWAP, unless something crazy starts happening in the market, it's still a high of day break and underneath yesterday's tops. I'm looking for a fade at here 96.5. And that's not just because obviously when I trailed out of a second long second long after 95 and looked at that trend break and was like, why didn't I short that trend break? If it gets back up to that price, I still want to short it. Monkey in the chat just says, what's wrong with Broadcom?
Uh-oh, what's wrong with Broadcom?
Well, You know what? I don't know.
Is that monkey?
I don't know what's wrong with Broadcom. I can tell you that there's no question it's incredibly weak today. But when you look at the daily chart, this is, of all the Mag 7 names, bar none, this is the most boring chart the last 2 weeks. So you could say what's wrong with Broadcom today because it's relatively weak, but it's another day in which Broadcom just finds out, like it's just 186 to 87, or maybe it's easier to see on a 15-minute chart. You're basically just traveling back and forth inside a range where the mid to high 90s get sold and the mid to high 80s get bought. So today, like it's, it was in the mid 90s yesterday and went down, and so we're, I guess, going down to the bottom of the range. I don't know why it's barcoding so much. It just is. So like Broadcom's sort of stuck in a range, just to answer your question there, Monkey, as there isn't a single chip name on that list.
Monkey.
Well,
all right, let's go back over. Yeah, so a little bit of a talk there, Palantir.
Monkey.
I just got out of some Tesla, so let's go back over. We'll talk about it, and then we'll talk about our trading today in Tesla.
List here, Katina, man, with European sales continuing to decline. A lot of reasons for that: an aging lineup, Elon Musk's political involvements, as well as a bit of a weaker European economy. Didn't matter though, because the stock is technically green on the day, guys, up 0.25%.
Yeah, Broadcom's going to be a buy because down in there at that 183, 184, 185.
just accumulating.
Yeah.
Accumulation.
Probably a good name. Okay, so for Tesla today, wrong, right? Wrong. We talked about that earlier on. We were trying to do basically the same thing as on Palantir, except for because it's been so strong, we tried to use some of these pre-market levels as the base where we were thinking about going. And then we just should have listened to ourselves because we don't have anything written down to 276. So that's really where we started to go. We were trying to see about yesterday's closing prices here at 280, but it just fell through. We were able to get out a little bit for small profit, which was absolutely nothing, then take the hit and be down on it. Then we were pretty, again, like I said, pretty proud of ourselves again for waiting for 276 because that was sort of that afternoon level, similar to Palantir, what we were talking about there, and that worked. We were well in the money. It was working out for us. It came all the way back up to 278 where we started to clear some out, but then it just fell like a rock again back in. And at that point, we were like, okay, we're negative on Tesla because we were. So let's now try to figure out what the next play was. And we just had it wrong. So we went short. Came back up to the 200 period. This was a good trade at 279 and change against 280, going down into 277, going down into 276. Good trades there again. Then we went short on the midday. Then it broke 280. And we got stopped out. So this would have been an L into there. But then revenge, and it's not really revenge, it's just, we showed you guys, we zoomed in a little bit there, and we were watching it as it was happening, and we just said, okay, there's that big candle. We got stopped out on it, but it was followed by, decreasing volumes, but still some bids. Couldn't get it through. Then it was 7 or 8 straight red candles, but by that time we were already short. So we were able to ride that back in and put Tesla back on the board. Still be red on that name there today because we put on the most amount of shares here early because we did believe in those levels that we had written down, but made a little bit back there and pretty comfortable with it now as we'll hold on to a small piece. Getting nervous here into the, not nervous, but into the close. We're above. So it's looking like a long now, but we'll hold it back for VWAP 278 and change. Maybe we're lucky enough to get that. So, many roads traveled today on Tesla.
You can say that again. Although, I can't pretend to have too much more to add there because I tried the longs. We liked the dip buy. We lost on the dip buy today, and then I'm just out at VWAP on the 280 short, which I even lost one time in there. It's hard to tell, but there was one time I got stopped out on the short at 280. So it wasn't like that was all roses either. But we were able to get back into VWAP on it. I mentioned Uber at VWAP, but I didn't mention QBTS. As the market was bouncing. I shouldn't say is bouncing here. QBTS sort of rolled lower off the same top here. And I was short this right before we came back on in this 870 range. You can see in the afternoon, resistance at 875, right here at about 1130 at 875. It's more like 880 now. But I'm just going to short this level again on QBTS. It's down on the day, but only very slightly. Every time it tries to go green, it's just sort of failing at that price level. So before we go back to Sharif, let's take care of some business.
All right, introducing a new discovery on the NASDAQ. It's Worksport, ticker WKSP. Worksport is a US-based manufacturer and rapidly expanding with growing revenues, government contracts, and innovative green energy products designed to power your life off-grid. Whether you're on the move or seeking sustainable energy solutions, Worksport has you covered. Now trading on the NASDAQ under WKSP. Discover the future of clean energy with Worksports.
Amazon up 1%. Good look, not at the highs, but a good recovery for Amazon above that $200 level. New headline today. So it looks like Amazon and MGM Studios announced a new joint venture with Michael Wilson and Barbara Broccoli for James Bond franchise rights. Says Amazon MGM Studios James Bond franchise rights deal closed on March 24th, 2025, guys. So it looks like James Bond now with Amazon.
Who's the leader for who would play the next
Me
Bond?
too, your Brussels sprouts. Who is the current Bond right now?
Well, no, Daniel Craig's out. He's done, man. It's
Wasn't it Idris Elba was there talking
there was
about?
rumor. It's too late. It's to the whole like that's. I think that ship has sailed.
Why?
The guy that I want, the guy that I think should play. Not that I want. Whatever. I don't care that much. Although, actually, I do care a lot. I absolutely love James Bond. My dad grew up. He read all the novels. So I grew up with my dad as a huge fan. We watched all the movies together. So like I have so many fond memories. When I started dating my wife and she told me she had never seen Bond, I said, if this is gonna work, we're watching them. So we started watching one a week.
Right.
To the point where all of the theme music, so at our wedding, the dinner music, and almost nobody noticed this when it happened, all the dinner music was Bond theme songs, just sort of played at a low key. And there was one point after like 3 or 4, one of our buddies, he just goes, wait a minute. And then he just stares at me and he's like, yeah. So I love James Bond. I want the guy from The Gentleman. I have no idea what his name is. That's the Netflix show, The Gentleman.
Right.
That dude,
that guy, yes.
Whoever he is,
I'm long.
I have no idea what his name is, but I want that guy to be the next James Bond.
There's some sort of a story here with Lumen, and I'm going to get this breaks through for.
All right, we'll get to Amazon in a second.
Lumen, 439. If we break below there, right now, Lumen and Newman.
You mean Newman?
Yeah, I mean something like that. Are talking here with something about AT&T, so buying their catalog. I don't know exactly what that is. We're not going to get into too heavily right here, but we'll try to play it. It just came right all the way to 5, all the way back in. We'll wait to see if it does hold this level where we were before. Should it go below? Maybe not, but this might be traders selling that are long up here. So we could flush underneath. I'm not going to stick around that long to figure that out. So we're out if it breaks through 39s, which is, I think I put 39, which is near this bottom right now. LUMN making waves right now. So we'll pay attention to that.
Before, we're supposed to talk about Amazon there, so that's my bet on the James Bond thing. And good look, those that are saying, shoot, now I forget his name. The dude from Sons of Anarchy. You guys remember his name. I think he'd be great as well. Amazon up 1%. We showed Apple's strength. You've got Amazon's strength as well. I think you're getting some favor back into the mags. And this is hold the 200, grip it and rip it. I can't think of a reason why, unless the market falls apart. As long as the market doesn't make legs lower, Amazon should be trying to get back to the 50 period, 215 or so. That seems like where it's headed. I'm going to start putting this on my list of things that I want to look at to trade. It just never, for some reason, it's always,
Amazon?
Out of the Mag 7 names, it's always Tesla and NVIDIA and Apple that I'll look at first. And then a lot of times, this one goes in the back burner. But with room to 215, it's just taking the stairs up, as I'm pretty sure everybody can see here. Good stock. Own it in the long term. I haven't bought it in some time. It was Meta that I recently bought.
Yeah, we like Meta for sure. So Amazon was the #2 idea, and it's going to be my #1 P&L name here today. Just get long on Amazon. It doesn't go into 201 or 202, but we were able to get long pretty early on it, and that was just held the whole day. So there it was, man, 203 and change. And it's the same trade. We went long Tesla at the low of the pre-market. We went long Amazon at the low of the pre-market. The good thing at this was at least there was some kind of support here with the 200. We were pretty lucky to get that bottom wick, but we just sat right where that last fill was at 303.50. So we were able to get that out at 202.50. That right there is 205.50. So that's $2 upside. Kept going, and then this was the better trade. I mean, this trade was good, but it just held, right? But this one happened at 10 o'clock, came right back into support, the 200 period moving average. That's the green line, and it held until eventually it broke. And I was like, yeah, we'll still take a winner on this. We had 5% left or so. Take a winner on that, and then it shoots right back up to day's high again. So yeah, a lot of relative strength on that one. We did get stopped out of Lumen. They're not a... We just tried this against 440. We talked about that. Looks like it is going to the downside. It's right here watching Lumen and AT&T. Traders circulate unconfirmed reports of AT&T discussing acquisition of Lumen's fiber network.
Fiber.
So, yeah, exactly. I don't know if you got your raisins with that fiber or not, but right now, looking like it's heading to the downside. Huge volume coming in on Lumen. Like, I don't know why this would be bad news for them, but...
I don't know why we never get raisins or cranberries on our salad.
All right. MSTR, Bitcoin, let's go.
Another day, Sean, another vehicle for raising money by strategy, formerly known as MicroStrategy. Now they're calling it Series A, Perpetual Strife Preferred Stock. And other than that funky name, all it does, it pays an annual dividend of 10% in cash. No other can't be converted into Bitcoin, 10% cash annually.
They're not going to stop coming. I mean, if you think Saylor's going to stop coming up with ways to raise cash that he can put into Bitcoin, I'm sure he's very creative to continue it. Look, I didn't trade. I traded some. We'll be able to talk about IBIT, which whatever. We'll do it in a second, and we'll just leave it at MicroStrategy now. What matters, at least I think, would be you've busted through some resistance on MicroStrategy, and you're in a nice upward trend. And remember, this is something that people are short. And when it gets going, it can really get going. And Bitcoin's made a nice rally. We haven't gotten back to that 90 to 91 area that we'll get to in a second. But MicroStrategy is starting to look a little bit strong again. You had a very good day yesterday, and you're following it through today. Like when the market is pulling back off some highs, it's essentially just following the NASDAQ. Like this chart looks eerily similar to the NASDAQ, some lower highs put in and some higher lows to form a bit of a wedge. But it's more the breakout that I think is happening here on MicroStrategy. If you get to 90.91, then this is if Bitcoin gets to 90.91, then this is a name to watch for a breakout. It's about 355 on the daily that has some real juice to get into the 80s and 90s, and that seems like it's coming in. Just one update, because none of the stuff that, I shouldn't say none of the stuff, some of the stuff that we're looking at isn't on the list, right? But Uber came into VWAP, grabbed some at VWAP, we'll get out if it breaks. I mean, not exactly at VWAP, never do that, but slightly above. Just imagine it breaking 80 by a few shekels and then we're out of it. And we're looking to short back into the lows and then that QBTS we already talked about. But yeah, MSTR, not really trading it, but I like that daily chart. Might be able to squeeze some people soon.
IBIT. So IBIT was always coming out here at 49. I mean, now we just got filled on VWAP. Again, right there on IBIT, so that just popped in. We're always getting stopped out at this low right here. So if we break through 79, we're going to be out of IBIT, but it is a reload. So we'll wait to see what winds up happening right there right now. I was still looking at Lumen, so it just felt like good thing we got out, but we still want to play this game. So I'm looking to go long. We just saw a bottom there. If we look on the daily chart, I'm going to go long right now, breaking through 25s. That's sort of where we stopped out. Let's see if we can, we didn't stop out there, we stopped out at 40, but if it breaks above this 25 area, let's see if we can close that prior bar, then get a little bit higher. If we go back there, it was right into here. That low back on February 25th is 420, so right there. You know, we obviously will get down a little bit on volume today, down into 410, but here we go, maybe back up to the upside. We'll see if we can, you know, again, sort of dollar cost average if you've been buying this name, because now you finally, and see how there was no volume there? Like normally you'd like to see an increase in that volume spike there for that level, but for right now, we'll have to just take what we can get here and see if we can get this name a little through that 425 area, and then we'll play off 410. So, you know, normally you are looking for some kind of a volume spike, not coming through there, but the action does tell me that it might be heading on its way up. IBIT, again, that was just my latest trade, the reload there. What did we get? I'll tell you the exact price there just to make sure you guys see 90s. So, you know, not a huge move back up. We'd like to get something out of the 200 if we can. So 97, 98 for first round of offer there on IBIT. And that's about it. Palantir still doing pretty good, cooking right here. If we can get something out of the 200, maybe we'll do that. And also a reload down here at the same level for 95. And then Tesla's just dancing around. Our last outs, we had a couple good outs. It just came all the way back up. Should have discussed it, but I'm not reloading it. No. It's nice that the futures are coming down, though, helping the short. But for right now, there goes Tesla. Good reload spot for sure if you wanted it, because that's where we're short. But I didn't want to average. I didn't want to get into it. We're long IBIT. We're long Palantir. Just thought maybe if the futures kept going. There goes that Lumens, by the way. It is going lower, Neil. It's going through $4.
I don't understand how the story
I thought it would have been good.
The story is that a depressed company has an ability, rumor or not, to sell assets. And it's going down. Why?
We don't even have a price on it.
Like, it can't get you, but it can't. How can it be worse unless this is a precursor to, like, some kind of bankruptcy action? Anyways,
there's more than 5.5 billion that it would be worth.
What's the market cap?
That feels like that's more than the market cap, but I don't know.
What are we at? I have to look it up. Sorry, I don't. The market cap's 4 billion. I mean, okay. So anyways, that doesn't make sense to me. If it doesn't make sense, I'm not going to try to make sense of it. So technically, we're supposed to go to BT.
Oh, BTC is still there? Well, then what the hell?
And DJT. Like, I actually didn't realize it's a crypto and DJT
We didn't even
story.
talk about MSTR, I don't think, but...
Well, I covered MSTR.
Okay,
Look,
good.
I'm not going to trade it, but let's talk a little DJT and Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry guys, a couple of crypto headlines back to back there. So this morning we got word that Truth Social or Trump Media looking at making a bit of a collaboration there with Crypto.com for an ETF, an exchange traded fund. It's going to have Bitcoin. It's also going to have Kronos, which is Crypto.com's own coin, as well as traditional securities, guys. So IBIT down about a little bit less than 2/3%. Last time I looked, DJT was negative as well.
Buying that Lumen at $4. I mean, it just went down into there, but that would just be because it's at $4. And it actually went through. It went to $3.95. So, but there it goes. I canceled my bid.
It's SSR. I should have taken the ban. Well, too late now.
Yeah, I don't know if that was an SSR bounce because it was SSR like right into here.
Oh, well.
That was way lower.
That's weird. That's a weird story, man.
Oh, man, there it goes. It's too bad. So we were looking for the long. Remember, we were going to take it at 425 right there. So we'd be stuck right now long. We canceled that just because, I don't know what this thing wants to do. So we got out of that one and canceled it. Tesla trying to work itself out as well, but not much going on there. All right, BTC, I mean, we got into IBIT. We can actually talk about, we will talk about Bitcoin, but IBIT right here, we talked about where some of our outs would be, and I think that's pretty reasonable up there at 97 or so to get out of like maybe 20%, and then hopefully we get back up to the upside as we're now just trying to play off VWAP. It fell into our lap the first time there. We were able to take it. That was good. We didn't play too much of it off early, but yeah, I like it. 87 and change. Good for me, man. I'm still, I'm starting to check it now a little more often because I feel pretty good about it holding that 82, 83 area. So you got to like Bitcoin. Those of you that, dip bought the NASDAQ or the S&P, you had opportunities to dip buy Bitcoin as well. And it looks like some of you did do that. As IBIT, just IBIT itself, held that gap level from the election. So we held that, remember, it was at 73 or 74 pre-election, and then gapped into the 80s, and then we went to 110. So at the end of the day, we hold the 200-period moving average on IBIT. We hold that gap level there for election day, and yeah, so for me, I think it's working well. And gold's working, Bitcoin's working. The US dollar, I mean, it's been kind of flat for the last little bit, but as we look at it against the Canadian dollar, but yeah, for right now, I don't know. I'm pretty happy with Bitcoin with these levels. I'm not doing any buying or selling right here.
Yeah, not at this price for me either. But this is look. I was involved in it at VWAP for most of lunch until I got wicked out, got up, and this is the first chance to get back in. So I'm going to get back in at VWAP. But there's also, DJT attached to it. So the story, of course, DJT, even though they're getting into the finance game and getting into the crypto ETF game, but it was a pop and fade today. We kind of said, I felt like it was going to be more closer to 25. There might be enough juice for it to get to 25 even. But it's worth remembering, this is breaking a downward trend. So I don't know that it's completely done just because it didn't follow through that much today. It's still up on the session, and you have some kind of support here at the 21 if it pulls back. Like anytime you accumulated a price level like this, I usually think if you fill the gap, you're headed into 21. That's not unrealistic for this afternoon. Because it's a flat bottom into an up market. Like you lose this can fill that gap in. So I have like I'm looking at that 21 as a bit of a level. And the reason I'm thinking about it is because I kind of messed up the short on Mullen. Went long Mullen this morning, and then we shorted it when it broke down. And I was even like, Mullen is I even said in the morning, Mullen is the kind of stock that could go all the way back to where it was yesterday. And then the second it showed a bounce off the opening range, I covered. And then it went all the way back to the bottom. So when I look at that DJT chart, my first thought is if it breaks this 22 level, it might be a flat bottom break short. I think I paid for locates. Let me just check. Yes,
I think you did. Yeah.
I did. Yeah, I know I did this morning. You're right. So could be a flat bottom break, and there's a lot of room for it to fill that gap in. So I'll look at this bottom break here. It's actually not 22 even. It's more like 22 change, like 13 ends up being the low. Yeah, maybe a flat bottom break. And then if it breaks 22, there'd be an opportunity to potentially add. If it doesn't flush right away, then it's not doing what you expect it to do. So kind of a tight stop to get out. But other than that, like I said, Uber, we're short at VWAP. QBTS is trying to get to VWAP on that short, but I want to respect the volume weighted average price because that was this price level. It's VWAP now, but it was also the afternoon support where it essentially held this range for 2 hours yesterday. Yeah. So I want to respect that and get out in front of VWAP. There was something else. Oh yeah, Apple. Apple is pretty strong. It just went to the high of the day. If the NASDAQ doesn't fall all over itself, I think this is the one to get dip bought for me. I mean, IBIT can hold VWAP and do it, but Apple's the only stock that looks really strong above VWAP here that I want to consider a dip buy away from VWAP. There's no obvious level yet other than waiting for it to get down to like 220, 280, but it can always form something. It's just relatively strong, and I know I want to be long this as opposed to short. So for now, holding on to the shorts, but looking for an opportunity to try to join the trend over there in Apple. If there's something we're missing that's moving, you let us know. And I was thinking about maybe that micro algo gets going again, but that's dead as a doorknob. MLGO, always take profit on these. This stock really rolled over, now down 17%. Whew, that's nasty. I hate seeing that happen, but you know eventually it's going to on stocks like this. They don't go up forever. It was a $2 stock, 2 days ago, and gave you $19. I mean, it's still at 10.
It's a high return.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you get a gift like that, just bank enough, you get like a 4 or 5x. You can bank out 40% of it for a double up or a triple up, and then let it ride, or take out 60% for something like that, and let the 40% ride for the dream. I think that's a better way to play it.
We can look at that RGC. We gave that advice yesterday. Get something out. I don't know what it's doing.
Dollar says it's down another 20%. That's
I don't know. Yeah, RGC.
Well, I have a dollar, right?
I'm not even sure. What did it end at yesterday? I think it's down 20 more %. I don't know. I mean, I could take that back.
You got a loony?
I don't even. Wow.
RGC. It doesn't really matter. We do stupid stuff like this all the time. I'll probably be wrong here.
Yeah, it's flat.
Oh, come on. It's flat here. You get it all.
There you go. Well, we'll have another bet.
I'll get it back in like 15 minutes.
Just that we just went to Tesla there. We covered again at $79.54. It just came there back in, so we're getting lighter and lighter on this name. Our stop for Tesla is a break of 281, so you know, to lose, if we lose on our last piece here, 35 cents, fine. We got to take $1 when it goes back into that level, especially noticing that the futures are above VWAP and we're all above. So yeah, Tesla looking real strong. We didn't even think Tesla would be green today after what happened early. Dropped right into 272, and it was kind of like, uh-oh, here we go again. And no, it completely gave us two opportunities. The first one, hard to stand in front of. I mean, we were both waiting for 270s. The second one, we already had that bottom, and I was looking at it as this was happening, and it was just like, nah, we chose Amazon, which turned out to be fine. But remember, we did that math. It was like, yeah, probably would have been better to put those shares back into Tesla. But we got it anyways, and then we went short, made the money back on the short, which was quite nice, so we're happy with that play. And then now we'll just wait on what can happen now for Tesla and hopefully get it back to the upside as we just put some stop orders in for Palantir as well, because some of these names moving around now. So Palantir, if we can get, not a stop order, but if we can get back up there into the O's, we should do that. Oh, that's what it was. We just got a fill. So I was like, what am I even looking at here? We just got a fill on IBIT. So good little one right there. We'll just do, let's just do this. So it's not like this, but we haven't seen this in a while with GameStop, of course, reporting tonight. We'll see who has got those diamond hands, if those can be rejuvenated back for GME shareholders.
Yeah, that's not going right now.
But yeah, so there's IBIT. We'll take a little bit out there off of VWAP. So just kind of like figuring the day out and going. We're gonna be green today, so that's so far so good. SMCI, this name, wow. We're up on this, which is nice. Thankfully, we did make that move off of that, again, pre-market low, moved back up, stopped out there, and boom, like got out of the way of SMCI. That's down 3%. We knew that the chip names were going to be pretty weak there, and we tried SMCI in what was a decently strong market that made its way back up. We were pretty happy with it, and then just as we were leaving you guys at 11, it started to break some of those levels. So again, we're pretty happy with the performance overall there, but SMCI at day's low for now.
Yeah, and so SMCI at day lows, Apple's still pulling back off day's highs, so I'm still looking for it to make some kind of a better higher low. If it dips, like I said, if it dips anywhere near VWAP, I'm looking for a bounce, no question on Apple. Was that Cliff's laying off of employees?
Something Cliff's, yeah, I didn't hear
Just
exactly
sort of feels
what the
like,
story was.
I don't know, you got the government layoffs. If you start hearing enough companies getting rid of employees, I think that's what I heard.
Yeah, well, I definitely was something
about
that.
The labor market. Yeah, Cliff's not really having a good time of it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't seem to be moving on that headline. Just wanted to take a look at it. I saw in the chat a few people were like, one was AEVA, was a small capper going, and then I was asked to take a look at Micron. We showed Broadcom is weak. Well, if you've looked at a chart of AMD, it's weak. If you looked at a chart of Intel, it's weak. Micron down 3%. It's not even in the 80s yet, everybody. And remember, this is where I hope it's headed. Well, just because it's, like I said this after the earnings, just because it keeps bouncing off this level, like why wouldn't you want to take a shot at this at the 85 level?
Right.
It gets bounced off 85, 1, 2, 3. I mean, you could make an argument about these other times here, but technically it didn't get there, went to like 86. But then it keeps getting to 110, 110, 110, 110, just over and over again. It's not bad, good 20, 25% move. And if it all has to do is get down there, you can close one time underneath, but if you don't the next day, then it's along the day after, more or less. And you can sit in it. Sometimes it goes right away, or you can sit in it for a while and it goes right away. You can sit in it. I just think some of the chip names, you're getting weakness with the exception of NVIDIA because there was a story that Apple is looking at buying NVIDIA when they hadn't been doing so before. And so NVIDIA is relatively strong today. Sorry about those wicks in the dark pool. Relatively strong today out of all those chip names. The rest of them, all taking a mini bath, not much of one.
Timeout.
So Uber, yeah, timeout.
Yeah, you got to take a timeout.
Taking a timeout from the rally. So Uber, we got a little bit out there when it just tagged the 50s, and as it comes back into VWAP, that's about at 70. And we'll just try to get back in what we got out, rinse and repeat that trade, and see what else is moving, everybody. JR, Mullen pre-split, one share is over $1 million. Look at the chart zoomed out. Yeah, we've said this before.
Yeah.
Mullen is 1 or 2. It's either Mullen or Camber Energy. I don't even know if that still exists, to be honest with you.
CEI.
CEI, it's how
That's what it was. I don't know if it's still.
Yeah, Camber was CEI. But yeah, we're well aware of the nonsense that
Yeah, we're not
Mullen
trying to
has
think
done.
that like you're rich off of that.
No.
That's where you log in the next day and you see that you have like,
Oh my goodness.
you know, that Mullen's at price 10 times what it was the other day. You know, now, hopefully we all know that that's, you know, probably a reverse split.
But when if a stock like Mullen does a pullback, like you just gotta be more like I know this is a weird thing to say because it was a stock that was going higher, but it should have been a bigger short than it was a long, because a rejection on a stock that rug pulls all the time. The probability is better when it loses the breakout. It's just a better trade. Look at its history. So the mistake for me was I had a much smaller short than I had in the long, and that's actually, in my opinion, that's a mistake. To each their own. But I think it was a huge mistake on Mullen not to have been more shortable. And I agree, Alan's sorry, I'm bungling your name. Alan S. Mullen should not be tradable. I think there should be limits on how many times you can get away with this nonsense of just dying and splitting and dying and splitting and all this stuff. Why is there not a limit? You should not just be able to do this so that you can get yourself listed again. The only people that benefit are the hedge funds that short this every time it splits. That's who's benefiting from this. Shareholders are just getting destroyed. It doesn't make any logical sense. Like, why is this company not delisted? But all you can do is take advantage. Like, what should you do the next time it reverse splits? If it doesn't make a new high right away, just short it the next day. Because that seems to have worked every single time. As a trader, what else are you going to do?
Yep, just try not to get trapped in those plays. I mean, we've talked about that a couple times. So, yeah, and it's not that we feel bad for people that do. I mean, you kind of know what you're getting into, and that's where it's like understand what you're doing, and then get your plans and get your playbook out. And if that's part of your playbook, people make money on it too. So it's not like for us to say like how that there's no money to be made there, because there definitely is.
Oh, Cambridge's gone.
Just stick with what CEI might be, and that's eventually what happens to them all. CEI maybe
I guess it's
unable to find that. Okay, so just real quickly here, did we just get some more Tesla upside? Okay, where's my stop on Tesla? 281 break. So yeah, so we'll just shorten that. I mean, look, last time we made a mistake not getting it. It did fall back in for $1. So we'll give it one more shot right now, right here. So we just shorted 65. So it's actually out of the money. If it breaks, we're almost out. Like if this could easily stop out. So if and when, which it's looking like it will, we will punch out. And there it is. So I'll slap the fail. I'm hesitant to do it because I know we made money on this, but we get stopped out of our last bit, as it does take 281, and we didn't reload it there, and the second time there's a chart, maybe it's third time, once, that was kind of the first time, but once, twice, 3 times, bust. So yeah, we got busted on that last little opportunity there. So that's okay, but we won't necessarily be too upset about it because we were able to make money the first time, so that's good. All right, so there it is right there, but that's why you never want to reload. And that's why we talk about share size. And that's why I was saying like I'm still down on Tesla, because we put the most in at the beginning of the day when our plan was made and it just was wrong. So that's part of that problem there. But look at Palantir. We talked about trying to get some out here as it was underneath. You guys saw me putting out orders. I said we have some stop orders out there. So we did get out now. Look at this market coming back in a little bit. Now, of course, Tesla going up with the market dumping. So here we go. Another green candle, almost. I mean, possibly signifying the top again right there. So starting to feel some kind of ways maybe about that. But for right now, there it is. It's Tesla. Nice move to the upside, getting us stopped out as the market coming back in pretty nicely here. Trying to find some shorts, I guess.
Well, I'm going to take a shot at AMD. I was looking over at a bunch of names. I have the order for that breakdown on DJT. DJT is just not moving. Right. If it breaks the bid, it was like 22.13, I think, was the low on DJT. If it breaks that, we're going to go short. But then I looked over on that last move up on the Qs, or the market, because the ES moved as well. Like that last little bit of a spike up and then a pullback. AMD seems to just have somebody selling it at 113 change. So right in here, 113.10 is the local high. If it's not breaking that on the way up, I've been short this at VWAP a couple times and 1 for 3, but why not? It's relatively weak. The chips are, as a group, they're weak, with the exception of NVIDIA that I've looked at. Should probably at least look at ARM and Marvell to confirm that, but you never know. So I'm going to look to short here, play it to the low of the day, and try to hold some past the low on AMD. Because if you're bearish on the market, you want to look for some shorts and see if we can't grab a few, right? Just for my own curiosity. Oops. MRVL. What is Marvell doing? Yeah, like all the chips are weak. Like Marvell's weak as well. And then ARM. Want to make sure you don't have like something which is standing out that we've missed. Yeah, ARM down 1%. Only NVIDIA is strong in the chip space that I'm able to find. Everything else looking like it's weak to the downside. Any comments on NVIDIA seeing SMH is stuck? Well, I think the problem is all the chips are weak and NVIDIA is strong. So you have like this push and pull going on because NVIDIA is the biggie. But eventually, you got to think it'll drag them down. Like you can't hold up usually you can't hold up forever. Either they all make a bottom simultaneously and NVIDIA drags them higher, which I'm kind of hoping the other direction because we just got into AMD. But you're not, until something resolves itself, you kind of have this push and pull. So you can watch NVIDIA. I just think it needs to find a bid over 121 or look at the chart, wait for VWAP. That bounced clean off VWAP.
Yeah.
You know what, should be trading, NVIDIA was actually not that bad today. Looking back,
good every day. It's just you got to catch it. You got to catch it.
Well, NVIDIA was at no point part of the plan this morning, but held VWAP, and then once it started holding VWAP has just been a good buy the entire time. So yeah, that should be an interesting look. I don't see why you'd get away from shorting that, or not shorting it, so getting it long on a bounce. Right now, it's just not doing anything, and that's the thing. You don't want to jump in if there's nothing happening. whatsoever. So let me know, because I see Tesla maybe 283 as a pretty big level, and that's just because that's where it dropped in the morning. So look, like that's an obvious one. Like if you can't see 83, 84, I think you wait till there. I don't want to be long up here. Maybe back into the 80 level could make some sense. Yeah, not a heck of a lot happening in here, for sure.
No, we're long IBIT near the end right now. We're long at 85, so we might take a 6-cent hit here if it drops through. It's at our level, so that could come in pretty soon, which kind of would suck if that does happen. But okay, we're just gonna wait here for Apple. I mean, I just don't like to get stopped out at this time of day. There's really not that much happening, so it's kind of like our levels are just there. Would rather like it come into our level and us get like a great price. So we'll just lose that 6 cents on IBIT, and then if there's a dramatic, well, we're not losing anything. I can get out right now for a 2-cent hit, but I don't. 2 cents. Like, what are you talking about? Okay, so anyways, right back into here. I think this is a name. Not I think I can. We will do this. If there is a dump in Apple, again, you guys are looking for some opportunities. I think this could come back into VWAP. Why not? The futures are right there at VWAP. If we do come into that, again, volume weighted average price. So Apple's been above it all day. I mean, the bears will be celebrating if they can get it underneath, but I do think that, probably will be supported pretty good down here. So I'm going to put on like a good trade, I would hope, anyways, decent size for here, because I only want to give it 50 cents. So if we break below 50s, then we're out. So right here, if this comes in, man, 222, like I don't know what the options play would be or what you guys would be looking at, but I'm going to try to buy some 222.70s down here. And again, Neil and I will trade the equity, so pair that however you can. But if it breaks through 22.50, or you can even put it down to whatever this wick is there, 25s, 28s, fine. But I think this is pretty worth it for a risk and reward. And so that's that trade. And it looks pretty good on here too, a longer time frame, just coming into there. So that's the level that I'm buying right here. So that's where VWAP is. It looks like we might have some support there. So we'll try it. Like that's what trading is. It's trying to get yourself into the best situations possible.
Maybe GME will do something going into earnings.
Maybe GME might do something going into earnings.
Oh, goodness, no.
I was looking at JP Morgan, so that's up again, beating the market, I think. Yeah, the ES is actually red today. I didn't even realize that, actually. I've been staring at the NASDAQ all morning. So the ES down 0.4. Yeah, and the banks, JP Morgan's up. So I don't, this is what I'm saying. Like I thought, yeah, energy could be down. Maybe communications, AT&T and all that.
Energy's not down that much.
The S&P 500 is literally 500 companies. So.
Oh, who's calling?
Well, you know what it is, man? It's NVIDIA's down. There are some down names today, for sure. I mean, if we look at our watch list here, just the worst of the names that I look at here, Donkey Kong down 5%, so I don't know what's going on with DraftKings. I mean, again, another name that I was thinking about buying. Mara.
I don't like anything in tonight's games.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We have to look at that through ProfitX. We will do that. By the way, oh, there it is. Let's go. Siren, maybe that might have been too loud. Siren up there because IBIT, we just got a nice fill at VWAP at 89s. So we were just like, I was like, well, if we take a loss on this train, like, what am I going to do? And then all of a sudden, boom, right there. Look, it was a 5-cent hit, so 5-cent win. It's not like
Tesla's going.
We're not going to go crazy over this trade or anything like that, but not bad so far there for a nice move up when I thought I was going to lose on it. Mara, Affirm, down. Micron. So I think this is part of it. Micron, SMCI. Some of the other chip names. NVIDIA's not here, but we know it's down. AMD down. NVIDIA down 0.8, 0.5. And AMD down 0.7. So some of these names definitely not helping out our friend, the S&P 500. So yeah, that's probably it. And then on the high side, you got Netflix, which loving Netflix. Definitely the missed opportunity to buy. Like we knew that there was no tariffs on that name, and I just couldn't
tariff-free, baby.
Wrap my head around how that could have been affected in the tariffs. So that was a definite buy. Google, finally, nice to see that one going. Amazon, we've had already today. Disney, we talked about that at the $100 level. Good PE looking on Disney. So, yeah, just some names there. Those are like basically my portfolio of stocks, not only the ones that I hold, but also ones that I look at here for the show. So more outs here at 88s and 89s on IBIT. Just trying to go 1-to-1. The market's not doing anything, so I think our best bet is to try to wait for Apple probably. Yeah,
I mean, I think Apple gets to VWAP if this market trend continues. We're still sliding a little bit to the downside. Shout out in the chat. Apparently, healthcare is not having a great day, which would at least explain it. Because I looked over, when you see the S&P down more than the NASDAQ, you're like, okay, well, if it's not financials, which sector is it? Right. I didn't think energy was doing that much, and it's not. But healthcare not looking very strong for sure. right? So AMD is kind of going sideways, but it's gone in or out of the money a couple of cents, and it's just barcoding and not moving. That said, there is still, and yes, I did look at GameStop, and GameStop is absolutely not moving going into earnings. I'll keep it on the side burner. We've seen stocks that are reporting do some moves before. Like if this gets to VWAP and starts breaking out, yeah, why not? Might just join it. I don't think it's anything more than if it starts moving going into the close, take a momentum trade and get out before the close type of play. That's what I'd be looking for. I'm also trying to get VWAP. I mean, I like Apple at VWAP just like you were saying.
Yeah.
And DJT, the order's in. Like it could flat bottom break. I'm just sort of waiting for it to break down here. It doesn't seem like it wants to do that. But if I can find a level that's really tight risk to work off of, like that bid or what was there on AMD, I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but okay, fine. Like, why would you get out when it breaks 113.10? Because it held 113.10 for half an hour. Well, that's now in the way. Here, there you go. It held it for like a half an hour. So I want to short like right at that level, give it a really tight risk. And if it goes, great. If it doesn't, wait for it to get back into the volume weighted average price. You were going over IBIT, so there's no point.
Yeah,
that's holding on to VWAP. And then Tesla, of course, not at 83 yet. But I think that could be next. If nothing happens in DJT, Tesla at 83, it just did this nice topping tail candle, which a lot of times can give you a good entry. 82 right now is sort of the inflection point, with 82.70 being the top. So let's see if it can close on some weakness on Tesla here. Uber, I'm not bidding again until 75.25 on that short. And QBTS waiting for a VWAP break. But here comes Tesla breaking into 283. The top this morning was 84.5. So you have some room up here. Like you could break 83 and go a while before it turns into a great shorting opportunity.
We actually were able to get, so IBIT right there, we actually got a 91 fill, so that's a pretty good trade. And again, to each their own. This is why we don't really discuss, the share sizes or what we're doing, because, like to get 10 cents, you guys are trading options or anything like that, like there's going to be no real win in this kind of a trade or anything like that, right? I mean, the market's not moving. So what we'll have to do is put on a different hat here and start to scalp. So that came in. We talked about where our out was. So we're just taking 1-to-1 now. Long 84. Our stop was 79. It's still in. It didn't trigger. So we did get close to getting stopped out. So we'll go a little more than 1-to-1 and just start to piece it out on the upside. We just got a 91 or 92. So that's what we're doing right there. We can still look for some Tesla, and Apple's coming into some of our targets now. So let's go see what Neil's up to.
Hey everybody. Hey, if you want top tier odds and total control of your bets, or as I like to call them, trades, ProfitX brings you peer-to-peer, picking up open API access for automation, cost-efficient trading of the betting market all in one place. It's basically like day trading on sports. That's the best way I can think about it, everybody. You make the offer, you can make the bid, you can match plays, you can manage risk as well by diversifying your prediction outcomes. It's not just placing picks. You can also go back and forth exchanging them. Smarter, faster way to be able to play. And just like, I want to give my favorite example of what's going on here, because for traders, this is going to be obvious to be able to see. Like, I just pop in here, and we can go away from this and just show the real deal for a second here, because I'm eyeballing right now, like the NCAA Men's Championship, right? And you've heard me say, and again, this is just my personal opinion, I think Alabama is one of the top seeds that I'm not a huge fan of, and I think they're weak. It's not just that you can make the yes bet, you can also take the no. And you can make markets on it. You can see, like right now, Auburn plus 540 on the yes, minus 620. But there's some additional liquidity away from the current best prices. Now, because the games don't start again until Thursday, Friday, there's not a ton yet. So, I don't think I would try to do something with Alabama until you'll see us live on Thursday. I don't know what time they play. The games start on Thursday, but. Certainly, I think Thursday afternoon is going to be the time when I start thinking about looking at slapping that trade. And all of a sudden, that way, if Alabama wins, you can always reassess after that game is closed. Do you still like that no bet? Maybe you can cash out of it, take a small hit, or if they lose, you can cash out of it. during the game, I should say. Not lose. If they're losing, I should say you can cash out of it during the game. There's so many opportunities you can make. You just take the other side and make those markets. So I think it's fantastic. I was looking for something tonight that we might want to take, Sean, but I didn't love the NBA
We want to talk
game.
about the NFL draft at some point.
It was the NFL draft that but that's not there just yet.
No.
I know there's a couple of games tonight that could be interesting. Might take a look a little bit later on. But yeah, ProfitX. What's cool about it is if you're a trader, understanding the bid ask and the opportunity to make a market in something as it goes, which is incredibly amazing. I think the biggest advantage though is that no bet for like the NFL draft. You know, like you don't think Shador is going to go in the first round, or you can really only bet will he go in the first round. Like there is no Shador Sanders isn't going in, and you can make that bet. I'm not saying that you should. I actually think he's going to go in the first round personally, but the fact that you can take that chance makes sense to me.
Are they trying to think he's not going in the first round anymore?
There's some rumors that he's been slipping because of the interview process.
Well, plus his dad is Dion.
I tend to think some of that might have to do with the whole Dion thing and the perception that wherever he goes, Dion might want to coach eventually. So anyways, that's neither here nor there. Tesla's getting into this high. So it just pressed 283, 283 half, right into the morning top. Want to look to fade this off the high. What is this about Trump? I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Trump and Ukraine going to get together on a maritime ceasefire, apparently. Well, I mean, that's good news. Like the word, I don't care what your politics are. The word ceasefire is a good thing. So, nothing bad about that.
No, that's good. I went long Apple right now. I just heard that news, but I'm still waiting at 80s to get a lot more. So I was looking at it. It came into our level there on VWAP. So we'll wait to see if, there we go. Did we just get that? What just happened? No, nothing. iBid. Okay, yeah. Here we go. Let's go. So right now we're 2-1, more than 2-1 on this iBid trade. As remember, our stop was 5 cents. And again, now it's 12 in the money. So it is what it is. We'll just make sure that we do take some more out as we go to the upside. Again, a decent trade. There it is, some 96s and some 97s right here, getting out at the 200 period. So we like that one for sure. We did not get our Apple reload, which kind of sucks. That doesn't really. We're here at 80. I'll take an 86, but we're waiting for more than that. We want to get like at least a unit, like good unit there at 80s, and then we want to wait for 70s. So we're just getting close. I thought we would have got filled a little more, so we'll take some piece there, get a better average price, but it's pretty light on that one. And then there's Palantir, so let's go on that one as well. A good hold for us on PLTR all the way back to the 200 period again. So more outs there as we get lighter and lighter on, honestly, on all of these. I don't really have too much faith in anything right now, especially when we get, again, like look at the market, but when we get headlines like that, ceasefire on this, Trump and Ukraine on that, and Russia on this, like I really just, it's not like I'll believe it when I see it because it doesn't matter what I think about. It's just I look at the market, and if we're not really getting a dramatic response,
does it end up mattering?
Okay, other countries are involved in this. It says Trump. All right, it's all good, so that's good. At the end of the day, that's what we want, right? Less loss of life. I don't really care what side of the aisle.
It could move nat gas around, but I mean that market's closed.
Yeah, I mean LMT, Raytheon, some of the defense, Boeing, as we know, getting some contracts there for defense as well. So Palantir obviously could benefit from that, but not from a ceasefire. But see, this is the thing. It's like you overthink things, right?
It's so easy to do.
It's just like I think it rallies the market if you are worried about going one way or the other. Pick the SPY or the Qs, and I think you'll be okay. So there it is. We were just, again, we're at 80s, so we were just, pennies away from getting like a real position down there. Unfortunately, we just had to average it in. Still waiting for that to come through again. Anything could happen, but we are long right now on Apple right at this price. So if you want to join me, you get that blended price right now. But at the end of the day, I'm still waiting for 70s and 80s and then getting stopped out if we break through 50. I mean, that right there is 30s. I just don't really want to give it 20 extra cents. I'd rather play bigger shares and give it less room than less shares and more room right now. Because if it breaks that, this level right here, which is 60s, then I do think we probably do get into the 30s. So I just don't really want to be underneath VWAP. So if it does break, that's what we're doing right there. iBit's working, Palantir's working, and for now, Apple's working. So let's just wait to see. Too bad we didn't get a better price on it, but it is what it is. I'm gonna go get a water because coffee is not really hitting. What are you doing? You have a full water, okay.
Yeah, you know what? You just reminded me that I have an absolutely full water, which means I've had none of it in the last hour and 20 minutes. So That was an interesting segue. There you go, a little Hydration Nation. These are fantastic. Down one of these. The first thing I do when I get in the office every single morning is I fill one up and I down it. I got to do a better job of finishing that. I might have just missed the curl, the turn or the curl or the fade, whatever you want to call it, because the confirmation was a hefty drop there. But this prior high is 283 quarters-ish, so we'll look for a fade off of that level. I was looking at Apple as well, a little bit closer to the prior support, like this 60 level. So I'm sitting at 68. I haven't been picked up just yet, but I don't want to completely miss it, so I might just have to nibble in the 80s. But I don't want to lose that bid. Cool thing is I can put in do not auto cancel. See? If I had gotten that fill and I didn't switch that order, then this order would go. I'm just going to leave it in there. Not that it matters. I mean, Apple's going to print everything if it goes down there, regardless. So let's see what happens next. QBTS does not seem like it wants to follow through. So I did not get more shares. It cannot break VWAP. I'm just going to jump out of this one. I was looking for some place to add to this after it trended down, but I don't really see an add to the short setting up for me. That's why I haven't been paying too much attention to it. It's either it breaks up and I'm just going to get out. Thought if it started falling apart, then we could focus on that instead of maybe like the DJT breakdown. But yeah, not too much happening over in QBTS at all. Bren's works, drink water, do push-ups. Well, maybe not right now, but yeah, get some exercise in. That's what you got to do. It's always important to do so. But probably not going to do push-ups right now unless there's a push-up challenge happening. And I look over at Joe because you guys keep talking about it and you don't actually do it. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just saying Sharif and Joe have been talking about this, and I've already said, and I've seen Sharif do push-ups, so my money's on Sharif. Apple no longer dipping. It's also a trend reverse. I'm just going to try and get a little bit more at that particular price. I will reload Uber. It's just a matter of it getting to me. I was bidding in front of the quarters. Maybe I should be bidding in front of 30. That's where it's showing me the next level is. So yeah, VWAP we like on Uber to the south side, but it's not at a reload spot. Hopefully we get one more shot at this in Power Hour and to be able to reload that short. Like reload your shorts that are weak, reload your longs that are strong, but you have to wait for the levels. Do you see anything happening? Like what are you going to do with the stock except wait for it to get to here, take some profit? That's the name of the game because there's nothing crazy happening right now. And Aldrin, no, I will not give you 50 push-ups. I do real push-ups, so I'm not doing 50.
50 right now, but he's busy. We got
50's a lot, dude.
Joe, you could do 50 push-ups, no?
He's flexing on them.
Easily.
I want to see the quality. I want to see the quality.
It is about the quality. Yeah,
I want to see the
you
quality
guys can judge all that. Right now, we'll just keep doing this. There it is, man. Good levels, good longs. We just got it. We just took 20 cents there. We just sat back down. We actually got some 97s and some 98s, so about 19 cents or so. 17 cents off that low, but a blended price, of 84, 85. So, we'll see. Hopefully, Apple can get going now. Look, if the Nasdaq goes. Good. I mean, we've got Apple. Apple was strong until it bled into here. So I like this trade, and there it goes, man. Nice little trade on that one. And then, oh boy, this is a good one for sure. There it is, man. It is a good trade for sure with IBIT. So there it goes. Boom. That right there was the trade. This was 4 cents, 5 cents worth of risk, right? We were long at 84. We gave it to 79s. We were in this trade talking it down with each other right there. Just talking about, okay, what are we going to do? Here it is, there it is, blah, blah, blah. Nice outs upside there for IBIT, so we'll be real happy with that one. And now we'll just have to wait. I'm going to step out a little bit more of Apple here. I just went to 96s. See, this is what I mean. By waiting, there it is. Okay, we'll get that fill right there. So we get the fill there at 96 anyways on Apple. So get another piece out there on Apple. Now let's wait to see if it can go a little bit higher. So just trying to get all of these pieces out. We wound up getting some, it was Honeycrisp? No, some sort of a orange Mandarin and something else tea. Peach and Mandarin. That's what it is. Oh, it does say it on the tag? Yeah, thank you for that, Ramin. No, it does. It says 30 years of excellence. It does. That's what it shows on there. But anyways, okay, so Palantir breaking through 96. Good trade there, 96.07. See if we can get higher, man. We're long. And today's been a successful day. Just starting to stick to our plans. A good, like I said, there's Apple. If there's anything else you guys want to talk about, what about Lumen? This was a name that we had looked at. So we're down on this stock. We only have one red stock today. No, we have two red stocks, Tesla and Lumen. That's it, right? So we're up on Apple. Our number one stock today is going to be Amazon. We're down. We're up. We only have one trade on IBIT. Well, one idea on IBIT, there and there. So we're up on IBIT today, and then we're down on Lumen. So boo on that one. Unfortunately, we got in and got out. So that was, we took the VWAP, we took that break there early, not even a break. We took it falling back in. Then it really fell back in, and then it cuts like a knife all the way down in. And we only wound up taking a 20-cent hit, so that was pretty lucky there. Palantir, the story is still going for PLTR. We really like this name. This is going to be my second.
AMDs.
Well, Palantir and Amazon are pretty equal, and then SMCI is right here as well. So, yeah, what do you guys want to talk about, man? J&J?
AMD's looking real strong.
Is it looking strong all of a sudden?
Yeah. Like the chips have not been strong all day, but AMD just got to VWAP in here. It did this before and had a little bit of a hiccup, tried to break down. I was like, I'll take the reversal on that. But I'm thinking the other direction now when you have that kind of a reversal. So AMD, let's see it hold that consolidation. Let me just make sure. Where's my offer? 223 right now on Apple, and Uber could reload. But yeah, advanced micro.
Right? Yeah, okay, good.
It didn't quite get to VWAP. I'm still bidding at 68, but maybe it doesn't want to get down there. I got to think it's going to be AMD here off of VWAP. The last time kind of did a failed breakdown underneath and then regained it. This feels like that was a much stronger move coming into it. There hasn't been a red candle yet on AMD. So if we can close this bar above VWAP, go along some advanced micro devices. Advanced, yeah. I almost wanted to say money destroyer, because that's what I'm used to saying.
Oh, advanced money destroyer?
Well, say it so often that...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you up on it today? I can't even tell with all of that. No, right?
Close to flat.
Yeah,
I was flat and then had this loss, but it's close to flat because I've taken. Right, so I'm essentially 1 for 4, which usually ends up when you get the bottom is going to end up closer to flat.
Not destroying that much money today, at least.
Well, it's not destroying as much on the daily either for AMD because it's finally above the 50-period moving average. Remember, I said if it closes above the 50-period today, and then breaks out 115 after that. I want to swing long in this. I was hoping that Micron would be like a 85 play, but if this is a break, I'm looking take it here, and then my out, I want to say 100. Technically, it should be like this prior trend line top, which would be all the way down to like 95 would be the out. But I kind of prefer the support here, like 102. But that's what I'm looking for a swing on AMD. It's not even trying to qualify for that. Just yet.
All right, well, yeah, IBIT is still trucking, man. It's now 20 cents, so we're going to get some more out. Apple's starting to go upside as well as all of these trades here that we've talked about sort of are now starting to come in even higher and higher. Let's go Apple. This is really a big stock here. So we talked about putting on some units as it came into that level. We wanted 80s. There it goes. Just keep taking some of these out as we continue to go higher here on Apple. So yes, Adara, what is up?
Keep an eye here on the market. We have comments here coming from Donald Trump at a conference here. He basically said that there's going to be another business announcement coming tomorrow. It's something big like you've never seen before. Yeah, this literally just came out. It was completely unprompted, not part of his Q&A here, but Trump saying off the cuff that there will be another huge business announcement coming tomorrow. So keep an eye here on the markets. Seems like there's going to be yet another company announcing an investment in the United States tomorrow afternoon sometime. Back to you.
All right.
Something maybe that you've never seen before. Something tells me that we will have seen it before. But
this administration has lots of big announcements, man. This is going to be very.
Well, it's the fun of the trading environment when Trump has been president. That's just how it is. Like you get a lot more volatility, intraday movement, reaction to headlines. Like you get a headline about the tariffs and then GM, which you haven't looked at all day. Something becomes a good short. I haven't looked at that stock today. So AMD did close above VWAP, that last candle. Let me see if we can't get more in the 50 range, like right at 50. Let's see if we can't add to that one. Because AMD, that's an interesting reversal. And it was all the chips that start catch. It's weird that it would catch a bit. I don't know what that has to do with. The investment headline, maybe, definitely not that ceasefire would have done anything. And I looked across the board while it was happening. Like Micron, which was weak, Micron's done nothing. That's going sideways. NVIDIA, that didn't move at all. So this seems like AMD's doing it on its own at this point, which makes me like it just a little bit better. Like if it's going to go on its own, fine. That means you're in the right stock. And let's look to see if it can get back into the 114 area and maybe even higher. Got to look for a place to add on AMD. It's going a little meme crazy. For some reason, it's caught a bit of a bid, but let's not fight it. Let's just try to join the trend, everybody. Yeah, NVIDIA is looking strong too. It's just that it hasn't made a move right now like AMD is.
Right.
Like this one's starting to pick up. It's accelerating. I don't know why it's not showing up on my trade rate list because I find it hard. Like, what is MDV? Oh, that's one of those small stocks. Yeah, AMD's way down here in the trade rate. Like, you still have Tesla, NVIDIA up there, but no question, it wasn't on this list before, and now it's starting to pop up there. So the volume and volatility jumping higher on AMD recently. That's why I want to jump into that long.
All right, we're getting out a little bit more here of IBIT. I mean, IBIT, nice move up into $50.10 there. So these are our best outs right now, right into that level. I mean, look, it's support turning resistance, but it's resistance right there. So there's another out for us as we go. And oh boy, shout out to OB in the back there as we put on another doozy for you with Apple. As there goes Apple now, man, Look, it's 30 cents. Nice move back up there to the upside. This is what we're doing, buying these dips, making sure that heading into power hour, you know, we're calmed down. It's relaxing trading. We have our targets. If we can get something out at the 200 period, we will do that right there again. So far, so good right now as well. Tesla breaking out for sure. That long is strong. I mean, we were talking about that earlier. Is Tesla going to be red or green today? I think off the open, everybody thought, okay, here we go. Like anybody that didn't sell Tesla or whatever, you know, might have had that opportunity there today. People getting FOMO, maybe they missed the top. Well, you're at the top right now. So if there was any sort of ill will about not selling this morning, this is your opportunity right now.
Sell it now.
Yeah, exactly. You can get out right now, right back there, right into the pre-market highs again. So, you know, looking at what this market's doing, I wouldn't short this name because the NASDAQ right now is pushing lower. And as you can see, Tesla's going higher. So what if the NASDAQ does catch some legs here and start to pump? Then, yeah, I mean, Tesla's gone and through the high of the day. So I'd actually rather wait for that high of the day, which marked down here on P Pro, well, they have those top wicks, but it looks like it's going to be 284.50 or so, the high of the day there for Tesla. So that's going to be a level there. You're about 50 cents, or sorry, $1.50 away from breaking that high. So if you get into that level, I'd rather take that out and deal with the rest later. So there comes the NASDAQ. Look at this, man, a nice push back in. So it was a good out for us to get out of some Apple up there in the 10s, in the teens and whatnot. So some good outs there. Actually, no, our best fill is, 11 or 12. So far, so good on that one. But yeah, good trade there as we go. So we'll just continue to watch out. But there's Apple, nice trades for sure.
I just trailed a couple. I trailed IBIT here with a topping tail at this lower high at 50.10. And then I just covered with the market bouncing there. Took advantage of a move down in Uber to cover the only short that I was in, which was off of VWAP. So you have higher low support at yesterday's lows. It just bounced off that as the market was pressing up. It gave us the opportunity to get out. Did not quite get the reload in that. So we're now just down to the newest ones, which was the A's, Apple and AMD. You know what? Let me go clean up. It wasn't Palantir. It was DJT. Just going to clean this up. DJT ends up bouncing off of this low, so I don't need to have a stop order to go short on DJT anymore. It could still happen, but you're now 3:15 in the afternoon, sort of running out of time for this to have a big move breaking down. So we'll just cancel the order. I like that flat bottom break, but with the market trying to catch a little bit of a bid here, I'm not sure that makes sense. Nick, this is a good question. You guys go to uni for finance. I was in accounting in first year, and it was a good experience because I had zero thought of what I wanted to do, and it was when I got into the program that I realized you talk to some upper year students, and it was a co-op program, so everyone talked about their work experiences and like doing audits and stuff like that. And I'm like, this doesn't sound like anything that I'll be interested in. So I moved into economics with a finance specialization. And not that that matters specifically for trading, but you know, I know you're business finance as well. So.
Yeah, I did business finance as well. So, yeah, political science minor. But as we go here, thanks for asking. Yeah, I don't think. I
didn't know you had a minor in political science.
Yeah. There's lots of stuff. Don't
you know,
I'm trying to keep everything on the down low. You know, I have an image to
I missed getting a minor in political science. I could have just taken 2 more classes, but I wasn't even thinking about it. I just had an interest in political science. Yeah. But you know, anyways. That's neither here nor there. I just didn't know that. I've known you forever. I had no idea you had a minor in political science.
Yeah, for sure.
Where's the more you know?
Yeah, where is that more you know? It's not that important.
No, it's not. It's just.
Look at that. This guy failed your trade. What's up, Stevenson, ETN? I mean, it's too bad. This is the kind of stuff that I was trying to tell Brendan. Failed my trade, the pool evaluation again. 5th one in a row. 5th one there in a row. So, I mean, guys, like, I'm not, it's not about making fun of anybody or anything like that, because that's definitely not what we're trying to do. But at the end of the day, at some point, my guy, I mean, I don't know how much it's costing you every single time, hopefully not that much, but slow down, figure it all out there, and don't go too crazy there with your evaluations and everything. And I mean, it's just, it does take, like, if you look behind us, I can span over 20 empty computers, and it's a very, very tough business. I've talked real many times, and I'm not, you guys know the whole spiel there. So just learn what you're doing, and then just stay comfortable, right? Like I was saying to you guys before, look at the names I'm in: iBit, Apple, Palantir. We had some, Amazon's the #1 idea, Tesla. My #1 loser today is Tesla, and it's the #1 trade idea here. So it's just be comfortable with your trading strategies, and if you are comfortable with them and they've been proven to work for you through back testing, through real life Stevenson examples, right? I mean, you've now lived through trading, whether or not you trade small cap. I mean, you can ask, Sharif and Joe, they tell you all the time if they're green or red on the day. You can ask me or Neil that as well. Then you'll just be able to track, like, what strategies are working for you, what strategies are working for us, and so on and so forth. So I just feel like that's the most important thing. Because man, even if it's $500 a trial, like you lose. Shut down on 5 of them. Like it just
nothing.
Right. So it's just like, slow down. This is not something that I was lucky enough to graduate, and I think the fastest ever in less than 1 month, and was able to, at that point, I think I made $6,000 my first month. But that was back in 1965 when I graduated university. So all right, let's go back over to the desk there with Adara.
It's worth noting here, Donald Trump is talking about tariffs again. So I put it up on the screen earlier. He did say that there's going to be tariffs here on Liberation Day. Now he's also saying he has the tariff set. So it's unclear by that if he means that there will definitely be tariffs on April 2nd, as we expected earlier, or if he's actually set which and what tariffs are going to be happening when, as of April 2nd. So all we know here is that these tariffs are set. If we get any more clarification on these comments, I will let you know. He's just doing a Q&A right now, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, and it's going to be headlines galore. This is the reason why you always hear traders, and a lot of traders, even in this bounce, saying, do I think we're out of the water? Like, even as bullish as it seems bullish because the Nasdaq's up today, it seems bullish because Apple's at the highs and Tesla's recovering. We're up 0.3% on the Nasdaq and we're flat on the ES, and next week you're going to have tariffs coming through. That's a lot of uncertainty that's still left in this market. I think you still have to watch out for some of the retail names could be under pressure for sure. What else do we have? That's what I wanted to get to. Let's go over Tesla again. I am offering high of the day here on Apple. AMD's right at VWAP, sitting where it was before. I am looking reload on Uber, so just the same ideas in the same places. Like, that'll be 75.7. The low here is 75.3, so we're looking to scalp that range for about 40 pennies. But Tesla continues to churn as it's now cleared out. It's now clearing out the top. Could this just break 85? Sometimes it's just like that. And I was saying to Sean, like, every single time you have a momentum style stock and you take profit on it, how good did it look? It's like, oh yeah, Neil, you bought some at 222, you sold some at 274. How good did that look at one point this morning, only to look again?
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing.
Like trash day. But ultimately, all you can do is, okay, well, it kind of worked. It'll never be perfect. Like, you're never going to get the absolute high. But I'd rather, you'd rather bank something than get MLGO'd, right? Like, you got to look at it that way. No one ever wants to get. That's a bad example because it's actually not that bad. You don't want to get Mullen, let's just say.
Yeah, Mullen.
No, you want to make sure that you bank profits and don't turn winning trades into losing trades. So VWAP bounce here on AMD. Hopefully VWAP fade on Uber again. Let's see if AMD can get all the way to 114. Yesterday's close. Next up, let's go to Adara.
It's worth noting here, Donald Trump has ended that meeting there. Basically, he had a meeting with U.S. ambassadors, or I guess he stopped by during a meeting with U.S. ambassadors. He did a Q&A. He did say, again, that he wants to get inflation down or get these rates down, and also said that the tariffs are set for April 2nd. He's now ended this meeting, so Trump no longer there, no more questions being asked. So some Trump volatility that you might have maybe will subside a little bit there. He has left the podium, as it were. Back to you.
All right. So yeah, we'll just wait to hear more, and if there's anything that comes from any Q&A sort of situation, Adara will obviously grab that and to our attention. But yeah, I mean, it just kind of, the market's not really reacting, so we can, we talked about checking out different oil markets and whatnot. We can check out if XLE is doing anything. And by the way, just to let everybody know, I'm getting more out of Apple. So we have, like I said, a decent sized position. We talked about that. So we scalp all the way up and all the way out. So far so good there as we wait and try to be as patient as we can with this trade there on Apple. But at the same time, I am now out of probably about 75% of the trade, only holding a quarter left of that. And again, it was really good, like decent size. Not really good, but good size for sure on that one. All right, there was a name XLE, that's what it was. All right, so let's go. Oops, what happened there? XLE, there it is. So we'll go over here. Yeah, so it's on the NYC American. There it is, AM. So we'll have a quick look at XLE. Again, it was, when we were talking about the sectors before, yeah, it was healthcare, right? And so I actually wanted to, XLE, we could just look at energy right here. I want to just refresh this and see which sectors today were leading and or lagging. So utilities today down 1.74%, healthcare 159, real estate downside, but it's the financials that are actually leading the way today, up 1.79%. And if we break that down a little bit, I think, whoops, don't change the colors, go into there and we can see what exactly is going on here and check out the components, what's moving around today. Berkshire, the change on the day, it looks like right there we're going to have Moody's up 1.5%, 1.8%, MSCI imbalance, BlackRock up 1.15. That's a good name. That's been beat up. I do like to get some hands on BlackRock. Well, wow. Right now, Apple is, we'll look at this after, but Apple's starting to go upside right now pretty good. Get out of here, man. There's XLE, but there it is, man. Good trading on Apple. Nice pop, my guy. All right, nice little move there for Apple as we continue upside there on AAPL. So yeah, we're excited, man. It's a good little way to top out your day there if you've got that Apple trade. So there it goes. Nicely done there, cooking to the upside now, Apple. Like I mentioned, green on the day. So these dip buy opportunities and being patient have really, really worked out. Good trades on iBit, Apple, Palantir we've got on right now.
Yeah, it's one of those, hey, you can't rest on your laurels because if you just stopped after Tesla this morning, like forget about it. You're not going to get it back. And it could have still fought. The weird thing is fighting Tesla on the long all morning would have eventually worked. So if you continue doing that, you'd be up the same way going to other stuff worked, but I'd rather not do that. Like I'd rather get it back going into other things. So I have that offer Apple 223.59, I believe, as double top up here, and we're getting into 330. AMD, I just tried to reload it again, and then this candle happened. So, I mean, obviously I didn't get it again on AMD, but we're looking for that press into yesterday's close. So it's kind of obvious to see where it closed because in the aftermarket it barcoded at that level. I was asked about GME. Someone was like, what do you think about GME earnings? I don't think anything about GME earnings. I only think about if GME does volume. It's that simple. So it's like, sometimes you care. Like if I owned it in my long term, I would care. I just don't care. And ultimately, it's between the 50 and 200 period moving average. And to be real, whichever way it breaks, I'm just going to favor that tomorrow. Like underneath the 200 period moving average, favor short. Above the 50 period moving average, favor long. And then go from that premise. Let the price be your guide. Ideally, it squeezes because I will always prefer that a stock goes up instead of going down. Because I know we short all the time, but I don't short anything in my long-term account. Outside of, I've sold covered calls before in stocks that I've owned. I've never actually overnight shorted anything. It's just not a play I like to make. So good luck to anybody in GME. I have no skin in the game, and I could care less which direction it goes. So long as there is volume and volatility, that's all we're going to be happy about. Tesla's still barcoding that 284 level. Looking to see if we can't get this pressed into 113.9 on AMD. No idea why it caught such a bid here, but it's trying to go green. Once it ticks green, I'm out.
All right, I don't know, you guys, we were looking around. Obviously, we've got some good trading happening right here on Apple, and I just hope that more of you had followed this, because even when we were up here, remember we talked about it, Apple was up about this percentage, 1.1% or so, and I was like, you know what? If the market's going to hang around VWAP, let's bid in case Apple gets down to VWAP. So there it comes in, man, and we've been sitting here for a minute. So now that it's come up to these levels, let's start to get more and more out. We have about 20% left now of Apple as it makes these huge moves back up and really starting to pay out right now. So, a couple tires here. We'll wait to see what winds up happening. Just little Fisher Price tires on Apple. Two UAL, apparently, in my ear right now. Oh, they're rejecting United Airlines. So let's wait to see here. Teamsters Union suggesting rejecting right now, so down 1.3%. Just hearing that in our ear. It doesn't look like it's going to be too huge of a mover, but you're hearing that rejecting some sort of Teamsters bargaining there, going rejection on whatever the latest offer is. So UAL, we'll wait to see if there's anything there. But yeah, man, just starting to clean up on Apple. I mean, if we can get up here, that'd be even great, even on what we have left. So Apple goes number one P&L name today, Amazon, followed by, well, IBIT almost made a move there too, actually. Palantir, and then Apple and IBIT will share. But Apple's higher for me than IBIT, despite having, again, two opportunities on IBIT, once and twice. We don't have any losing names. I lied. We had Tesla and Lumen right here. I can't get around this, man. That trade. But Tesla's the one that hurt. But at the end of the day, like I said, up today. It's a good one. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 2 with SMCI sneaking in there, very sneakily up on SMCI today, which is very lucky to be up on that one, considering where we are there. Nothing but downside for SMCI. So there it is. Yeah, like I said, man, tag me. It'll be easy for us to see it. Adobe, I think,
Tesla
reports later this week. Oh, Tesla's going short finally?
No. Vecna just said Tesla wants the short. Oh, the shorts. Jeez. Okay, I get you. Yeah, it's taking no prisoners on Tesla. Vecna, Adobe. Sorry, that was Vecna. Will is asking about Adobe for a nice bounce. By the way, it was just a nice little topping tail candle. I've trailed out of Apple. We never got the fill down at VWAP. I've canceled it now. I had it on Do Not Auto Cancel, but you've already made the move, so there's no need to have that bid out there. If it pulls back into VWAP, that might be like a 350-ish type trade on like an imbalance or something like that. If we get back down to that price, I don't dislike Adobe for sure. It's just one of those stocks that I've never really owned it, and I feel as if, let's one load up a little bit. When you have, if you're not in a stock or you're not like too interested in a stock, then it's doing this. I don't even care until you break trend. Like it's dumped, recovered, dumped. I'm not talking small moves. Like this has been dump to bounce to dump, bounce, dump, bounce. And you've heard of users that are not happy with some changes they've made. And again, I don't use it, they're just secondhand. I've actually heard Fabian talk about this as well. So it's underneath really, really big prior support that it had in the 50-period moving average. But it gets really interesting. You see the double bottom. It's the wrong way for that double bottom at 400, right? Like it's underneath there. So you're trying to break this out. If this gets down to 320, that's like that's a long time level, but in 2022. Looking back, that's where I'd look for a bounce, unless it breaks this trend. So when in doubt, zoom out, wait for support levels to come in when a stock is doing something like this, because Adobe looks rather unhealthy, I'll just say. And again, a lot of the complaints that the users make, I'm not a user of Adobe, so that's not for me to say. It's just what I've heard from others that have said it. My brother, who does a lot of graphics, he's an animator, he said some of the same stuff about Adobe in the past. So you're running into resistance right here at the prior close price in AMD. So I'm going to ring the register because it's 330, expecting some imbalances to come in here and see if we can't get another VWAP bounce. And if it bounces down, I'll wait for it to get there before placing a bid. So AMD just bouncing off VWAP the same way Apple did, and the other direction the same way Uber did, although I'm still offering Uber here. Let me just double check. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Uber's not doing anything anymore. I'm just going to cancel the Uber offer. It's not really moving that much. If it gets back up to 75.75, I can make a judgment when it gets to that price. Like I said, out of Apple, thought we'd get that fill on AMD, and then we can reload it on VWAP. It's one more press, and we'll be able to get these 80s.
All right, yeah, we're getting more out of IBIT. We're just getting cleaned out of everything now. We saw yesterday that move into the close again. All right, let's check out what MLGO is doing right now. You know, just to see if there's anybody trading any of these names out and about here today. Obviously, with MLGO down 16%, which was having a great day. I heard Sharif was looking at this name, and I think I don't know if he wound up, he didn't pay for shorts today, so he was only trying to go long during here, and I believe this halt was, yeah, just as they went on air, and then it halted again just as basically they went off at 1 o'clock. That was into 2 o'clock, of course, but 2 halts there on MLGO. Good move back into $10. And, you know, if you're going to go long at anything, I mean, why not have supported 10? It does not break 10, so 10 wins one more time there on MLGO. So great hold if you're able to do that. Like, it's already gone from 10 to 20 back down to 10. So there it is, chopped in half and all the way overside. MLGO, good name there today.
Identical chart almost to DATS.
Oh, that was the next one I was going to look at there. Big Bear AI did fall back in again, so going down to flat. So this was a name that was going early on, and we sort of indicated a little bit about that. What did we just get filled on there? Apple, Palantir maybe, or nothing? Palantir looks like. What? Oh, yeah, Palantir. Wow, okay. So there goes Palantir. Because I was like, the market, like, why isn't Apple or IBIT really doing anything? Because they're not. But it's Palantir. Let's go. This name, man, Alex Karp, I mean, this guy might be done selling everything right now. As this one's continuously going to the upside right now, up into VWAP, up into these levels. So here we go again, man. My next offer, and I don't have it out, and I should, is right here. Let's break through. That's basically VWAP right there. We're out of it by 7 cents. Let's get back up to the upside to sort of day's high here if we can do that. And I'm not talking, all right, so I shouldn't say day's high because it's not, but it would be this little high that we've already made there. So let's get back into the 96.50, 97.50, 98 would bring us up to the top. I don't know. There's only 30 minutes left, and then, you know, we don't have huge earnings. We do have GameStop, though.
Hey, man, GameStop isn't playing around.
It's having a nice move here.
No, like sometimes it's a good one for sure. Ooh, good question, Safe. Just a couple of things. AMD got out and made that pop. Apple might have one more. If it pulls back here, it's only 332. There's like one more shot, maybe in the next 5-10 minutes for it to give one more dip. And then I think we sort of let it go. Tesla, let's not fight that. Safe asking, what names do you guys like for long-term at this level, but at these levels beside tech? That's tough because I like Walmart, but it's not at my next level that I'm trying to buy it. Let me just look at I can pull up on a daily chart. I usually like a weekly, but it's going to be good enough. Let's just save some time here. I do like Walmart for sure. I like XL. I like the financials this year, but they just recently did a bounce, so it'd be hard for me to say I like it at those levels. Did I not just switch to Walmart? Am I going crazy? I typed it in and hit enter. We'll just hit enter again. There you go. Now it's starting to load up. I've already bought once in this range. I'm waiting for the next quarter to buy it. It is at the 200 period moving average. I just think with all the uncertainty, Walmart is a dip that I think you're dipping each quarter because it could have a rough year. So it's hard to say that. I do like financials a little bit more. The problem is it already bounced off the level, the XLF. And I've gone away from the individual banks with the exception of in Canada because I just reinvest the dividend into the ones that I own. The problem is XLF already bounced off this level. I think you need to see it hold the 50 period moving average again, but it gave you the dip. This was my pick at the beginning of the year when we did our thing, one of my 3. So I love it here in front of the 200 period in the 47. I'm just done with picking individual banks. I used to have Morgan Stanley. I still do own TD Bank and CIBC in Canada. I don't think anybody here cares about those.
Some people, I mean, TD Bank's pretty popular.
But all the other Canadian banks are better. All of them.
Oh, yeah.
They're all better than TD.
I don't know.
No, stock-wise. I mean, the stock is doing better. I shouldn't say...
Well, it retraced. I think it's going to come back up.
It has.
Reverted back to the
Bank
mean.
Montreal,
that one.
Scotia.
All right, so yeah, just getting out of all these positions. Let's see if there's anything on the imbalance locator here for us this afternoon. Yeah, I mean, look, it's actually pretty busy. Ford again. Here's this CRH, CNQ. I mean, CRH and CNH. Remember they were there yesterday?
They're there.
Yeah, Canadian there's TD Bank, as you were mentioning as well. But yeah, Ford up to 10 1/4. So yeah, I mean, a whole lot of nothing going on.
But hasn't it been 8 million every single day since Friday?
That's what I was thinking. Remember, we thought it was the
Every
imbalances, but you know that seems to have been there for still now. So there's 1050 on Ford. Even though we could sit here and be like, yeah, it's up nothing, it's this and that, but it just has the moves and it kind of sits there. So, you know, it's trying to get back to the upside. You'd be happy if you bought it at 9 and it's at 10. So that's a nice little move back up to the upside. So you got about $1 on this name. And in not too long, March 5th, you know, 10% up in Ford since March 5th. So yeah, that's not too bad at all, you know, to be honest with you, at those levels. So right there, let's watch out for that.
That's all you can ask for in Ford.
Yeah, I would think that would be a good little take there for you. All right, man. I know Neil said he stepped out of Apple. That's good. But right now, I got out too on some lows there as we printed into the 40s. But there it is, man, 60s, now going up to 70s. This thing right now is getting close enough. It is now 90 cents. So maybe if we dance a little bit, then this can get back up to the upside there and take down 22.81 is where we're long. So we are now pennies away from that dollar club, and you guys can go, you know, do your, oh, there goes Palantir, by the way, as well. Palantir, boom, shagalaga. That one is your dollar winner. So again, guys, thanks for joining some of these trades, and thanks for watching us one more time here today. But make sure you do scan that QR code below, because that's your gateway to eSignal. And eSignal, a very popular method around here to chart with, apply over 50 plus brokers. Definitely get into that app store, you know, download all of the extensions. There it is right there. User-made also studies, right? Like there's studies in there from Warrior Trader, for example, not just to drop his name, but there's a Warrior Trader thing. Yeah, there's different things in there like that, you know, how to follow other people that are buying ahead of you, things like that. But there you go. So that's something that you can look at there. And then, you know, just tons of customizability there. You can tweet all this stuff out. You see the charts that we put out here on the daily as well. Then the scanners gives us that sort of road map to what we're looking at every day. So, you know, definitely something worth looking at. It is eSignal, and you teaming up with us here at Trader TV Live and able to offer you that. So, you know, go in there, support the show, click on eSignal. If you like it, let us know. And if you have any questions, let us know that as well in the chat. So there we go.
The chips are running.
Yeah, man, everything's running. Apple's now that dollar. Palantir, IBIT, everything's going up. You got NVIDIA,
I just jumped
AMD.
in. Well, I got out of AMD and jumped into NVIDIA. Broke the high of the day. Well, so it broke the high of the day here. I keep trying to get rid of these wicks. But yesterday's top is at 122. It's a straight shot from 121 to 122 if we want to go. Obviously, the imbalances might have something to say about this, but I want to buy into the prior high, not this one, like this one, which is like 120.90, right? So I want to buy into that, not VWAP. We're too far away from that, and there's not enough time. So buying into the prior high, look to see if you get a late day rally. If it's a buy imbalance, great. If it's not, I think it's easy enough to get out. So it's literally 25 cents because I happen to have 121.15. So we'll see if NVIDIA can join this party. Remember, there was a positive news story for NVIDIA-ish. It was that Apple story. I think that's a bigger deal overall for... I just remember I cannot zoom out on that one. All right, so let's see if it can hold on to this 90 level. I'm just underneath it. I don't like even stops. So it's about 80, somewhere between 85 and 90 is where my stop is going to be. If we get any kind of a bounce and hold a higher low, then I can add to this position and then run it into the close. The thing to keep in mind, though, is, oh, shoot, there goes AMD's actually pulling back. It was probably right to cover AMD, but it's now starting to pull back as well. So you're getting a bit of a dip. I'd like to see these start to hold on one more time. 10 minutes to the imbalances, so I feel like this is a last trade before the imbalances do come out. Tesla is absolutely flying. I thought maybe we'd dip by Apple, but I don't think we'll do both of these at the same time. Like if this doesn't work, then we'll just take the other longs that worked. We only had one short this afternoon. Couldn't find anything other than Uber at VWAP. It just wasn't many short opportunities here today. Thought DJT was going to be one, but it could be the first L and on NVIDIA here as we try to buy the dip. I'm just leaving the stop in. I'm only adding if you see it hold this prior high above the 90 and then show a nice little rounded bottom. That'll give me an indication that we're good to go. But you're running out of time for this to make the move. The longer it takes, the less likely you can even get a break of the high into 122. As I say that, I should have orders out in the 30s at least for it to get up to. I mean, pre-market highs, if it breaks a pre-market high, I'll let the people punching the high break give me some exit liquidity on the way out. But you're running out of time here. If we can't add before 340, like 346, 347, then we're not adding to this position at all.
So we only have 10% left of IBIT. More outs as it comes in. And I'm just going to get out if it breaks this. So it breaks through 95. If we get a 94 print, we are out of IBIT. And we'll props up to that one. That was a good trade, man. It was. We'll wind up making half on IBIT on what we wound up. Sorry, no, I'm wrong. No, actually, it was Apple. I was going to say Apple's almost double what we made on IBIT, but that's actually not true. It's almost like it's like 30% more. So just wanted to give you a little bit of an update on what we made on these trades. It's because there it is, right into day's high again for Apple. So I know we said Palantir was day's high, but it wasn't. Apple is. So there it is right there, man. VWAP to day's high. There's not much else we could do right there. So we will floss that one off. And that was a good trade, needless to say. And we'll hopefully make some more for you on many more days. There goes Palantir. This is $1.25. In the money as well. We were just getting out at the 200 period. We didn't reload it there. We were trying to be as patient as possible. We had put that down on the sticky note that we wanted those patients, and they came through. So there it goes. Now we get right back into these levels, the levels that we called. So that's pretty good. IBIT, whatever, we'll figure that stuff out. So GameStop is expecting to report 9-cent EPS with revenues of $1.45 billion. Its last move was 7% on earnings. Its implied move now 10.5% for GameStop. So if its implied move is 10.5%, I mean, this is what the chart looks like. It's held, and you know, whatever, you might not like this stock or whatever, you know, Michael Noss or whoever talks about this name. But, you know, down here at 20 bucks, it's held it pretty good. Its last low is only $21. You know, considering the way that some of these other names, I know we've had a nice little recovery here in some NASDAQ names recently, but, you know, GameStop was doing okay when everybody else was kind of panicking a little bit. So let's wait to see if GameStop can come up with something EPS positive, 9 cents expected. That's a good one. Tonight for GameStop. All right, let's go see what's up with Adara.
So
RML, this is critical metals getting a little bit of a pop here as JD Vance announces on X that he's going to be visiting Greenland on Friday. So CRML looks like it's popping here in response to that JD Vance tweet saying he will be visiting and traveling to Greenland. Back to you.
Oh, you know what? Mr. Westermeyer, I misread that. Just one note, we have about 5 pennies, and then we'll have to take the first L in the afternoon on NVIDIA. But this question was, if you had to sell everything, buy one stock, and its success would depend on whether or not you could retire, what would you buy? So you want something that would move. I thought you just meant if I had to sell everything, put it into one stock, and then I'm holding that till retirement.
I think that's what it no?
The guy, I said NVIDIA. I don't know that I would change that. Yeah. Like, what am I the most sure of that would appreciate from now till my retirement? Like, I love Meta, but I mean, fads can change when it comes to social media. I just feel much better in NVIDIA based on the themes that it's got going for it. So that would be my answer there. If you meant something that would just single moonshot, that's a different story. But I think NVIDIA qualifies for me. I'd go there.
Yeah, mine would be the Trader TV Live meme coin. So once that's released, we're going.
What would we call that?
TTVL, man. That's easy. Yeah, we've already got the coin. I just don't want someone to take it before we go out. Now it's probably going to be a white paper tomorrow on that one. So shout out right there to everybody at Trader TV Live. All right, so Apple right now, we've already sort of rang that, but it's right back up into that level again. So as we get ready with only 4 minutes left until, it's 44 now, 6 minutes left until imbalances. Let's just start to get the rest out at the top now for Apple, then go through it on that one. We can check out what Tesla's doing. Tesla go burr today, that's for sure. From top to bottom, geez, man,
this
272 right now up to 286. 300 tomorrow on Tesla, right? So there it goes. I don't think there's any doubt. We probably open up near 300 tomorrow. So let's just wait to see what winds up happening. There goes Tesla. Huge move off that bottom, that here, this is the daily chart. just 5-6 days ago, man, you're at 230. So I don't really, hard to sit here and judge that move, but it is just straight fire.
You know what's worth looking at on Tesla? I don't think a lot of people have seen the weekly chart of Tesla and how ridiculous a level that was at 220 on a weekly chart. I don't know that we showed it enough. The weekly on Tesla, that 220 it's your 200 period. It's big time support that doubled it up before. And it was also, if you look at it, regained the 50 at this level. So it's been a buy zone really well. I just feel like if this is the bottom on Tesla, I'm not completely convinced it is. Otherwise, I wouldn't have sold some yesterday on that reload. But my, I can see us getting into the 350, 360 range if you're able to break that 50-period moving average. It's just big on the higher time frame. And sometimes you have to be patient about it. Like those bigger names, we even saw the quantum names bounce off things like the 50-period moving average or the 200-period moving average. Well, the first time anyways, Rigetti did. That's the example I wanted to use was Rigetti pulling back into the 50, huge level. And sometimes you got to take advantage of that. But Tesla is absolutely nuts. So, you know what? I'm not going to short it. No.
Short?
Yeah, I have LFT because of NVIDIA. Apple long worked, AMD long worked, and Uber short worked, and then we had some LFT because of the NVIDIA. But I don't know if I want to short a trend break on Tesla. Part of the idea of a trend break is to short it so that you can get a real move on there. There's 4 minutes till the imbalances come out. So I'm going to look for something on the imbalances, and hey, lo and behold, Ford was 8, now it's 4.6. It's probably just going to pair off again. I think you got to ignore Ford for the time being on this imbalance list. I'll be looking at NVIDIA and Tesla, maybe some AMD in case AMD has some kind of an imbalance because that long is really starting to extend. And if it comes out a buy, I'd look for a flip off of the morning high on AMD. That's 114.80. So those three names are what I'm watching.
All right, now $1.20 in the money with Apple, $1.20 in the money with Palantir, still going higher, and then IBIT is going higher as well. Like these trades have really worked out here this afternoon, so I hope some of you have had that. We'll props it up to anybody that has, and a couple face slappers there tonight on for you here this afternoon. I want to give a big shout out. I just double checked. I had like so many notifications there, but here's Brian Shannon. Thank you so much, Brian, for this too. Tune into Trader TV Live tonight. We'll have Brian Shannon on here as we talk, and thank you, Brian, for tweeting out that right there. So Brian Shannon tonight, and I'm going to talk to him. He tweeted something out about Palantir and another couple of ideas that he's had recently. So Adair and I will question him on some of those posts and what he likes moving forward. Something also about anchored VWAP off of some of the major indexes. So we'll pay attention to that. But there goes IBIT. So again, man, good trading here off the jump into the close. So yeah, the market's working. We're up. I'm never going to be fighting markets again. We've learned our lesson from that. I'm just going to go long into these plays. That's why we talked about this before they came in. So Apple, IBIT, and Palantir, we're all here, all part of the trade plan this afternoon, and we're going to go 3 for 3 and work out on those. Palantir we've had for a long time, and that's just like, I'm going to call this a win because we held on. Like normally we'd get a lot out there. We believed in these plays, and so right now, coming back in, now with only 2 minutes left, what's up? What's up, Tia, there in the chat? JP Morgan does make its moves. Did I just get filled on something? Oh, yeah, we got IBIT. Wow. IBIT and Bitcoin. Yeah, buddy, there, Joseph, my man. Up there, $50.20 goes IBIT right now. So we climb a little bit higher on that one as well. Yeah, Travis, you want the hot dog candy? You might as well get it, man. Today's going to be a good day. Like I said, up today, always a good day when you're green. So we'll take that. And considering our first trade was Tesla and downside, I feel pretty lucky to have been up. And then especially the fact that we shorted and got out of the way. So yeah, man, so far so good. We're having a great day here. And yeah, Apple Moon, NVIDIA, IBIT, Palantir all going. Lumen doing nothing. But oh, wow, Lumen, I said doing nothing, but there it is. Nice move right back up there into VWAP again. So yeah, man, so far so good.
It makes sense that it would be down that. But whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, there we go.
You know, like that Lumen story, like it didn't make sense that it would fall through the low there. With only 1 minute to go on the bounces, and obviously Tesla's got to be of interest here in case it has one. AMD, which is absolutely flying into the highs, that got green on the day. And NVIDIA is always a name that can have some kind of imbalance. Right now, level 2's on Tesla. What would be ideal is a push into 290 on a buy imbalance and then a 355 flip when the imbalances pair off. That would be the ideal. But at this point, you never know what's going to happen when these come out. There could be no imbalance, and then there's no trade whatsoever. Like I said, GameStop didn't do anything this afternoon, so I guess they're waiting for the excitement after the close when we find out how much money they probably didn't make. Not that that's going to matter too much because it's not about fundamentals. In about 10 seconds, you'll see all these update. I expect Ford to be gone. If one of these big ones stays or comes out bigger, like a CNH or whatever the CRH is, then I have no issues jumping on over into one of those.
We're out now.
So they're out, and Broadcom, $2 million to buy is actually the big one. Palantir is $1.5 million to sell on Palantir. That's pretty big for Palantir. I don't usually see that on Palantir. $1.5 million to sell. I don't see Tesla's there. It's a sell, though, of $900,000. I would have preferred a buy, and then you could fade off of that high. So Tesla, $900,000. Palantir, $1.5 million to the sell side would be relatively large on Palantir. So that's the one. I just flipped to it immediately, but the algos, that's the thing. You got to be right on that stock. You got to guess right, and the stock that you want to watch is the one that you see in order to capture something like that. But Palantir 1.5 to sell, that would be the biggest name. Can always look for a flip. If it holds VWAP here, that'd be great, because then a 355, if and when that imbalance flips, then you can try the long in PLTR. So gotta have to wait for that. You have to be so fast to get that trade.
Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, so yeah, good discussion there. We got out of pretty much of everything of Apple just before the number came out. So, you know, again, 2 outs. We'll hold on to a little piece to see if we want to go through, but good trade there on Apple. And again, like today's top stocks for me, Amazon, Apple, Palantir, all on the sticky note, and we traded them pretty much how we wanted. We're lucky enough to find Apple late, boom, to the side. And then, yeah, Neil just talked about Palantir. I just punched out of all of IBIT. You know, we only had that 10% left or something, so we were able to get out of it. I, again, just didn't want to be part of any sort of a late rally. Well, rally we would have been a part of, but any sort of a little bit of a dump there. We didn't want to be part of that one, so there it is. We are now out of that, and yeah, not too much else to talk about. I want to look at Lumens, Amazon. Again, my number one P&L name and the number one P&L name today. Right there, 203, great trade there. Again, off the sticky note. We'll look to make some of those again later on. The lesson of the day for me, I guess would have just been stick to the levels on something like a Tesla, because we shouldn't have been in that trade. This trade I'm fine with, and all of this, I think we were able to make, we were able to make money on everything else besides that trade, and then losing early on the drop through. And luckily we did not hold the 272, but taking quick outs there. So that put us red there on Tesla, made money back, and then ignored it and left it to basically for dead. But those of you that did not, congratulations, 3% on Tesla. One of the leading names there today for sure, up 3%. I mean, not much else going. We'll have NVIDIA as well, 121, flat to red on the day. Intel was a name that we didn't look at, but Intel today, 24.25. Are we up or down on that one? Flat. AMD.
But it's holding view up like it always does underneath.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's fine. I mean, I'm pretty happy with everything. The only thing is we got out of IBIT a little bit too soon, but, you know, this will be my third best, so we're pretty happy with that. So, you know, pretty good trades overall there today. We'll look to make some more tomorrow, and then we'll just see quickly if GameStop's doing anything into the close. No, but me and Adair and I will be covering this immediately at 4 p.m. We'll get those earnings, and it's only that one name, so join myself, Brian Shannon, and of course Adair, as we just mentioned there, tonight for the market recap, and we'll go over the day's moves and what was going on. Lyft, we didn't even talk about Lyft here into the close, but that's a couple good names.
Yeah, we didn't go over Lyft. There was that Lyft story that there was an activist investor that was investing in Lyft. That was actually the reason I was short Uber, because Lyft, here quickly, because Palantir has another minute to go, Lyft did this. Then the investor was like, then the story was like, no, we're wrong about the story. The investor invested way less than what was reported. And when I saw that happen, I flipped over and said, if Uber went up on sympathy, we'll just short that. So, and again, it doesn't really matter. That ended up holding VWAP. We're going to go to Adara, and in 1 minute, let's see if Palantir wants to reverse that sell imbalance.
This part of the show is brought to you by our friends from Trade the Pool, who are back with Trader TV. Trade the Pool is a game-changing platform that caps your risk while giving you the opportunity to trade real shares using company capital. That means no more risking your savings. Trade the Pool now offers an unlimited trading period during the evaluation phase. No pressure, no rushing. Take your time, perfect your strategy, and get funded on your terms. Because remember, your losses are capped at a one-time evaluation fee, and your profits are unlimited. Head to tradethepool.com and start trading now. Back to you.
Yes, thank you to Trade the Pool. We have about 20 seconds, and then, or less than that, less than 20 seconds, then the imbalances are going to potentially update. I know I say flip all the time. Oh, did Palantir? It's already down to 1 million, so it's already starting to go a little bit here. See if I can pick something up over 50, and there it goes. Right, so it's obviously no longer 1 million shares. Where is Palantir? Don't even see it on the list, but it's not making that big of a move. So it did pair off, and there was a slight move up, but not a very big one. Yeah, that's not really doing much of anything. I'm just gonna jump out of it. Like, it's not really going anywhere on that Palantir flip. Sometimes it's really good. You'll get a pop, and you'll actually break the prior high. Punch out flat. I'm sitting there trying to get an extra 2 cents at this actual wick high. No, you want it to flip and break out. That's the idea. 1.5 to sell. I didn't actually see it go to a buy. I just saw it no longer a big sell. Went to punch in, got it, didn't break the high, jump out. No harm, no foul. We're going to pay fees, obviously, because I got in and out at the same price. Actively, meaning aggressively, so I removed liquidity, but not much action there on PLTR. Usually that trades much better on like NVIDIA or something along those lines. Nothing on the locator except for Ford is somehow still a buy of 5 million shares. I suppose if that stays, maybe you could do something with it. That's a good 10% of the day's volume. But yeah, it's Ford. Like with Ford, you'd be trying to get like 2 cents or 3 cents on the trade. So you have to get either a midpoint or just get filled on the bid for a boatload. It's not worth trying to work into in just 3 minutes.
All right, yeah, good try there on Palantir. You never know what's going to happen on those flips, that is for sure. Okay, so we got out of Apple there. We just got out at 75 or something like that, basically for nothing. It's just where it was. We were able to get something out right before at 90s, and then we just got out right there at 75. So once that broke, we got out. So I'm fine with it. We had like 1% left, and basically the same level that we have here on Palantir. So let's just get out, and then we'll flip over and get ready. Ooh, see, I almost put Palantir.NQ or .NY again. There it is. So now we are out of Palantir. Offer 47s or 46s, get filled, and now get out. Again, we called these levels. So that's pretty good. Remember, we called it the high of the day, not that. So Palantir still down on the day. Just a quick little look. We will be doing all of this during the recap show, of course. But today, the #1 names here that I'm looking at on my board, Tesla up 3, Netflix up 2.5, Occidental up 2.
How was AMD not there? Oh, there it is at the bottom.
Yeah, AMD's there, 9-1, so 1% basically. Amazon 1.2%, Meta 1.2%, JP Morgan, yes, JP Morgan, let's go.
Another one.
We like that one as a slappo right there. JP Morgan, that's been a good dip buy for sure, the one that we put on there. Roblox is well up 1.3. So yeah, my kid asked me the other day if, he's like, do we have any Roblox shares? I told him, yeah. So he knows. He bought those Roblox shares a long time ago, and that's one of the ones that he's holding. So
my daughter hasn't played Roblox in like 2 weeks. Since we came back from
nice, good.
Since we came back from Florida, she hasn't touched it.
Nice, good.
Most of that was because she was practicing for that talent show.
Yeah, when is that anyways? So
the tryout was yesterday.
Yeah, but
so
how did
I don't think she finds out.
Oh, okay.
I think she said that the teachers are deciding who they're picking on Thursday.
They'll probably pick.
So we'll see. I mean, ultimately, what's cool about it is there was a girl in her class who was singing the same song she was playing on the recorder.
Okay.
So now they're unintentionally now a duo. So they did it separately, but now it's like
going to go up.
So like they might both get picked because
that's nice.
what the heck is going on with AMD? You can't call it the advanced money destroyer when it's breaking out the high of the day right now. So AMD we got out in front of 114 and we told you guys we're looking for, if it goes green, we'll let the exit liquidity tick us out. But in the last 10 minutes or so, well, I mean, there's a 15-minute candle. The big candle was on the 15 minutes, so obviously could have held on to it. You know, I'll slap the fail for not just holding on to this one as it broke out that high. But remember, AMD is finally doing it, everybody. The downward trend that's been going on since October, it is breaking. This is now a close for the second day above, and there's no jinx in it. There's a minute left. It can't actually make this move. Above the 50-period moving average, which it has not done since October. Now, granted, you can see what happened after. It was the ultimate trap. But if you never take a shot, it's something that's a trap. Every trade theoretically is a potential trap because it gives you a good solid entry point or entry thesis. As far as I'm concerned, this one is setting it up. All it has to do is break out that prior high, and then bingo, entry, bango. You can stop it at 110 for a tight stop, or you can stop it under here, under $100, whichever one you like. I just know that I like that setup on Advanced Micro Devices. And oh, now we got the closing bell. As some repairs were done on the bell, but let's get it off me, get it to Adara, because the bell's brought to you by Worksport, WKSP, over on the NASDAQ. And let's get it in 2 and 1. What happened to... and that didn't sound... That sounded interesting. It didn't sound like a bell, but the bell got rung in one way or another. We got GME after the earnings for sure. Within a couple of minutes here, we'll see when they do report. No action on GameStop just yet. They are the big earnings names, but there's a lot to go over in a rally like today. You had Tesla going moonshot. Late in the day, you had AMD going. You had the chips getting quadruped most of the day. You had small caps going absolutely ham. Strength over in the banks as well. So a lot to cover, a lot of action, and don't... Thank you, Brendan, because we just rang the bell one more time. Brendan wasn't playing, I was like, yeah, it works. Don't worry about it. And we have Brian Shannon. Lost my train of thought for a second. And we got Brian Shannon joining. He of Anchored VWAP and technical fame. So that's always going to be a fun one, dropping mad knowledge like he always does. So big shout out to Ramin on the ones and twos all day long. Shout out to the homeboys there, Sharif and Joe on the midday. But let's get right to it. All you got to do is sit back, relax. For GME earnings, it's already heading a little bit to the downside. We got Sean Adara, guest Brian Shannon in the ProfitX recap show.
Hey everybody, what's up? Yeah, we're excited to have Brian Shannon with us here today. Adara, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you?
I mean, wow, what an afternoon. I mean, the market started to rally up and we were long. So
oh,
it was a pretty good afternoon, that is for sure. Thanks everybody for joining us here on the Market Recap. We will have Brian Shanahan join us. As soon as he's in there, we'll grab him and he'll come in and join us. Talk about some Anchored VWAP stuff, talking about some of the election highs, these past highs, the lows, and give us some levels to look at now that a lot of us are getting anxious. Did we miss the bottom? Maybe. It seems like maybe on Tesla as the #1 name. We reviewed some of that earlier today. Tesla, what a nice move right back there into the 200 period moving average. One more time on the daily for Tesla, up 4% and going higher here in the after hours. So congratulations anybody that has that one. There it is. Look at this. Quite an aggressive move right back into the 200 period. Moving average, uranium down today, FXI down today. But it was the NASDAQ at the end of the day. Here, let's just go over to a 3-minute chart. Going out near, guess what, the highs. We like it when the NASDAQ closes at the highs, especially all of the markets. Really a good sign. We've now battled back here, and especially on the daily, you know, you're now back up. We did close out a positive week last week, so that was nice to see. And it was has the bottom been put in? You know what, tariffs, we already know April 2nd. Let's just wait to see how the market reacts to that. But a nice move back up to 493. We want to thank everybody for sticking with us here tonight. SPY also would have closed near the highs, I would imagine, as well, if the NASDAQ did. And no, not quite at the highs. And we knew that the S&P was held down today by some various sectors, including utilities, which down 1.6%. That was to the downside today. Real estate downside. Healthcare also to the downside, as we'll look at names like UNH and whatnot getting lower there as some more talk come from the new administration. Consumer staples communications to the upside as well. I don't know what was going on with uranium today down there. We'd look at names like SMR and get a good feel for them. Remember, we do have the chat open, so if and when GameStop, I mean, I can switch over to a 1-minute chart. Well, I don't have the news in my ear, but if there's anything that drops, obviously Adara will be all over that.
I have Benzinga open.
Okay, so we do have the Benzinga platform open as well. IBIT surging into the close as well. That was a good move all the way up to 50.20. Look at that. Nice little move.
Oh, we got earnings.
Back right now. Okay, we do have GME earnings. Let's go over, quickly have a look at what's going on. Okay, up to 26 fat finger, down to 24 fat finger. Right now, GameStop up and down. What do they look like?
I mean, let me put it this way. Like I said, I don't always love to compare the EPS and the revenue to our estimates right away, but the estimates I was seeing for revenue, 1.45 billion. They reported 1.283 billion. That would be a miss. And yeah, just to clarify, they did actually, that's carparts.com. So GameStop did miss here from what I can tell on sales. Also, their sales of 1.283 billion are down year over year. Sean, last year, 1.794 billion. So going from about 1.2 bill this year versus 1.8 bill last year.
Yeah.
So regardless of whether or not they beat estimates, which again, from what I can tell, they missed, it's not a great look. Their net income, though, did actually rise year over year. Their selling, general, and administrative expenses down on a year-over-year basis, so lowered expenses, higher net income, but lower net sales. In terms of EBITDA, it looks like it's a slight increase here on a year-over-year basis. When I see any other numbers here, I'll let you guys know. But the full year overview, I want to go over quickly, too. Yeah, John, for the fiscal year, GameStop reported net sales of, let me find this again here, net sales of $3.823 billion. Last year, $5.273 billion. That is quite the yikes number on a year-over-year basis. But if we see anything else, we'll let you know.
Yeah, good look. I was just logging into X as well to see if there's anything going on over there. But yeah, okay. So again, the numbers are what the numbers are. GameStop doesn't seem to care about that. As right now, Adair, some of those numbers weren't the greatest, but there it goes. Wow. GameStop definitely elevator to the move upside right there. It's not necessarily ripping, but it is stepping higher. 26.25, new high there, 26.55. So there goes GameStop right now, nicely cooking to the upside, above the 50, above the 200 right now. There goes GameStop, nicely done to the upside. So thanks, Adair, for that. We'll wait to see. I mean, if there was any problems, I mean, 27.50 right there as a little bit of a look could come into play. That's where we are right now, where this tick is. So we're right at this level, 26.25. Next level up, 27.50. Then that very high, if you can get to $29. And look, stick an offer there. If you're long on GameStop, the expected move, the implied move was 10.7%. So again, if we come into where we closed, 25, 10% gives you another 250. There it goes.
Bitcoin or GameStop. I mean, they announced an update to their investment policy with Bitcoin. Yeah.
Okay, good. I sort of called that move.
You
I
did
was
call
like,
that.
Where was GameStop going to do with Bitcoin? So what does the strategy look like there?
So yeah, all we're saying here right now is they announced the board has unanimously approved an update to its investment policy to add Bitcoin as a Treasury Reserve asset. Now, it's unclear based on the wording of this if they've added it as of right now, but either way, they're looking to add it, that is for sure. We know after Ryan Cohen and Michael Saylor were seen talking, and when I say we're seen, I mean they literally posted a photo together. So we know Michael Saylor, king of Bitcoin. Not super surprising here that Ryan Cohen, who leads GME, is sending the group higher, but here's the headline, just saying that they've announced an update to their investment policy in order to add Bitcoin as a Treasury Reserve. So that's been approved. I think Bitcoin might be added to that balance sheet.
We do want to thank, of course, the segment sponsor for the whole recap show. We want to give a big shout out to ProfitX. Again, Neil and I demonstrated a little bit that on the main show. Go over there. It's a new sports gambling website where you set the lines, bet on the no as well. Make the bid and the offer, man, on different lines. Much better. I mean, I play with FanDuel, DraftKings, the lines are better, man. You're not paying the 10% VIG, that juice on those lines. So go over there, check it out, ProfitX. Hey, look, just go over there and check it out. That's the best, I'm telling you. And then if you are a gambler, you'll see better lines with ProfitX. Thank you for sponsoring, again, this show. So we want to thank them, ProfitX. Go check them out. All right, GameStop, yeah, man, 27.10 and going higher. We went over some levels. We just talked about it. We're right into those levels right now. There it is, 27.25, just as we talked about it. Do your calculations, right? Get it all figured out. There's Bitcoin right into those levels. So that's your 10% move, Adara. 25 and change, although it doesn't show that because it was down today, but there was the close right there, 25 and change, right? Give it 10% up. You get 250 on that. We're not quite at that level yet. Close enough, 27 and a quarter after hours high there on Bitcoin. Now, we did get some activist news today as well on Lyft. So that gave this, let's go back over to a 3-minute chart, just because if nothing's happening, you won't be able to see it. There goes Lyft on some nice movements today. Bloomberg report that activist investor Engine Capital, $500 million stake right there. I mean, it'd be nice if we could just announce our positions and then the stock would go up. But again,
it's actually 50 million. It's crazy how they were
50
wrong.
million.
They had a typo. Yeah.
Oh, okay, well then there we go. So
Yeah, they had the pop and then they dropped.
Okay, so thank you, Adair, for that. So as we go, get the bull getting the horns there. Where's that going in my face? There it is, right there. But anyways, nice move there for Lyft. And then, yeah, thanks, Adair, for clarifying that. 10% less of an investment, 50 million instead of 500, and there it goes to the downside. So thanks for talking about that one. Strong names here today include Netflix, which continues to pump higher again. Look, subscription-based name, tariff unrelated to Netflix, I would think anyways, as it can go to the upside. If there is a tariff play on Netflix, let me know. But there it goes. Netflix almost back to all-time highs again. Not too many tech names that are looking like that. Meta, though, early today announces that in order to comply with the EU regulations, they are going to charge for a ad-free subscription service to both, I believe it was probably Facebook and Instagram. So if you do subscribe to that, it was 10 euros. I did various plans, but the base was 10. And if you're subscribing to that, it's an opt-in program, which does satisfy the EU. So thanks, Adara, for clarifying that earlier in the day. And Brendan and Sharif with one of our first stories. So Meta today up 1.2% on, guess what? More opportunities for revenue. I mean, yeah, they're going to like that move. 1% on such a huge name, right? So there it goes. The market cap just continues to increase here for Meta. $1.4 trillion. Nice move there. Again, a beautiful bounce off the 200-period moving average. If you're going to look at some sectors, we can just quickly do that. XLF helped out today, again, as more certainty with possible tariffs, possible negotiations, some flexibility coming into light right there. Banks and small businesses feeling maybe a little bit better about themselves. So there goes XLF shooting to the upside. Good trade again today as some of those banks look to recover. Oh boy, it's been a good one there. I'm not sure if we're in the money more or not on JP Morgan, but it's a nice move there for XLF. Some of the beneficiaries of new administration, I thought Goldman Sachs, new deals, less regulation, Morgan Stanley as well. So we could have picked any of these, and I think they probably all would have been the same, as there it goes, nicely cooked for Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, and Goldman Sachs. Nice one there to the upside. Let's go back to GameStop and just have a look to see if there's anything else going on right now. We're on a 3-minute chart. There it is. So it does get as high as 27.50, giving you that 10% move. We'll talk to Brian to see if there's anything that he likes there about GameStop, and or if there's any sort of tickers like that that he's looking at as well. So that was Lyft. We talked about that. Let's just go over some of the other names here, because there wasn't, I mean, again, the Q's going out at the high. We really like that, with more uncertainty in the market, maybe coming out, as some of these last calls have been pretty good. Look what's happened here in technology today. Microsoft 0.5, Google 1.7. That could be one of the next ones as well. We've already talked about Netflix leading the way. Salesforce today up 1% as well. IBM's a little sneaky. I like IBM, man. Another big play for quantum computing. I think IBM can work in this environment. But when we're going over to healthcare and health technologies, let's have a quick look at some of these names as we talk about some of the red sectors. I don't exactly know what the catalyst was for some of these moves here in the health sector. Care sector today?
I don't know either. All I know is that Eli Lilly made like days lows while the market made days highs. Because I was like, well, I was watching the thing all day. Like we were actually breaking out really nicely and into that 870 area in the morning, and then we closed around 850.
Perfect.
And I know there was one catalyst in health, but it seemed like it would have been a positive one. Apparently there are some reports that this H5N1 is going to be the new COVID. That's what some people in London are saying, some doctors in London are saying. That came out midday, but it could not save the stock. Also, I can go over this GameStop earnings a little bit more if people want. Yeah, for sure. So, Jimmy here, net sales down 28% year over year. To 1.28 billion versus estimates of 1.35 billion. They did announce, though, that Bitcoin will be added as a treasury reserve asset. Hardware and accessories revenue here down 34% year over year. Software revenue down 38% year over year. Collectibles revenue up 16% year over year. And their SG&A expenses are actually down on a year over year basis. They cut those expenses by 21%, which is a good look for the stock. Also, as T-Money mentioned in the chat, and I mentioned when we read the report, their net income also was up on a year-over-year basis. But again, guys, their annual sales were also down. So sales for 2024, around 3.8 billion versus 5.3 billion for fiscal 2023.
Good, thank you, Adair. So that's GameStop. GameStop, the only earnings name that we have tonight. So we'll be a little light on earnings, but it doesn't mean that we're light on action. We're going to talk to Brian Shannon soon about the SPY, about the Qs. He wants to talk about Palantir and a new trade idea, a brand new name that we've never talked about. We are going to talk about that. We want to thank everybody for staying late with us right now. Over 4,000 of you staying late, so we want to thank you for that. That's a really good number considering we don't have too many earnings today, so thank you so much today for everything as we continue to go. So Bitcoin today had a nice little run there at the end of the day, and we'll call up the Binance Bitcoin chart right here for you, and just to have a little bit of a look. So it's been holding pretty good, 83, 82,000. So BTC looks like it wants to continue to work. On the 15-minute chart, there it is, looking to get back above 88.5. Let's see, it looks like that was the bounce spot there today. If we can hold that, this goes back to yesterday at 4 o'clock. So we were trying to bounce off there again. Looks like we're doing it right now again. So this is today at 4 o'clock. This is yesterday at 4 o'clock. Let's see what winds up happening once the market is closed. Yesterday we had this push down into our AM, into the PM there for ours, into China as they wake up and start to trade is what I'm getting at. Nice move down to 86 and then retrace back all day as it follows the yellow brick road of the NASDAQ with a nice move back to the upside there on BTC. So some good trading at the end of the day. We traded IBIT into the close, which was pretty good. Looks like GameStop struggling a little bit here at 27. So let me just go quickly over to IBIT and see what that's doing. Nice recovery for them, back up to $50.30. So looks like it did make a move down there. I think traders might have been thinking that there was going to be more from GameStop maybe, but again, there's the move down, there's the retracement back up, and probably on that GameStop news. So there goes IBIT back there to the upside. So again, another good one. I did want to look at this. I want to give a big shout out to Adara because she's putting out, I mean, she already knows this. We've talked a lot about the work that she's been doing here. And I think this is really cool. I know this goes back to Jan 10th, but I know it's not.
There's a new one below, yeah.
Oh, is there a new one below?
Yeah, it was a repo.
No, because I saw it. Oh, there it is. Okay, good.
There's a new one.
So, okay, there's a new one. Okay, I was going to say these have been updated. So here we go. And I just want to say this is the S&P 500 weightings. We got a question today on the chat about what stock would we invest in if you could just go one of them, right? I would choose the SPY, but that's not allowed. We're not going to pick an ETF. Maybe I'll ask this question to Brian as well. But this is the whole S&P 500 weightings. You could see 485 companies composed of 59%. So for S&P 500, all right, 485 of those names are 60% of that index, right? So it is very heavily weighted to Apple, to Softy, to NVIDIA. So it's kind of like the Qs when you're looking at this. A name that I like slipped in there, Berkshire, 2% still of the S&P 500. So for me, if I could roll with one name from here until eternity, I know unfortunately the man's past his prime, that is for sure, but I like Berkshire. I like what they're doing. I like some of the methodologies there, the investments. They've had some big calls as well as sticking to their guns with an Apple, with some of those banking calls, BAC, WFC. I like Berkshire there, and honestly, I'm not going to ever hate on Google, but I noticed here you have Google and Google.
Yeah.
So the A and the C, B and C classes there. So interesting there.
Slightly differently weighted.
Yeah, so they'll add up to around where Amazon is as well. And then there it is, Eli Lilly, XOM, Visa, and UNH all combining for 5%. So just interesting. I just wanted to show everybody that although I was talking about diversifying a little bit and just investing in the S&P 500 on these dip buys, understand that you still are putting a large chunk of your money in those top, let's call it 10 names that we just reviewed. So, all right, before we go over, I see Brian's waiting. I just want to have a quick little look at GameStop here. $27 and holding out right now is GME. Hey, it's been a couple weeks, man. 2 weeks ago, I was at the dentist. And then last Tuesday, I have no idea what I was doing. But right now, I'm happy to bring back, again, he's been here every week that I haven't been. It's Brian and his Trader Talk. Let's go. Hey, Brian, long time no see. How are you doing?
Good to see you, Sean. You look like you got a haircut, maybe.
No, I mean, my account's been taking a haircut a little bit recently, but actually we've had a good couple days in the market the last few, but I was actually thinking about just shaving it all. So maybe we come back tomorrow with a similar, I don't know if we'll be exactly like that, but a similar look there. You're looking as handsome as ever, Brian Shannon, again, from Alpha Trends. I want to make sure everybody understands who we have on board right now. Maximum Trading Gains with an anchored VWAP. Thanks for the book. And again, a great read. They can go find you on X, on your website, and again, on Amazon for the book. So thanks, Brian, for spending, again, your afternoon, a little bit of time here with us for our market recap show. So thank you so much. How was trading for you today? Did you do anything?
I was very inactive. I did well with Tesla and some short-term trades, and kind of gave a lot of it back in the Qs. I kind of thought the Qs were going to break down to the 2-day VWAP, but they didn't. So it was a mildly positive day, which was fine because I didn't have high expectations.
Yeah, we actually had, right at the end of the day there, we had Apple on a little bit of a breakout back to the highs of the day, Ramin, and then we had Apple, IBIT, and the Qs. So we kind of rode the long.
Nice.
What do you think about the market? And we have the Qs up right here. What do you think about them closing? And I know we want to talk maybe a little bit. We saw some posts that you had there this morning about anchored VWAPs from their all-time highs with the Qs and with the SPY. But right into there, closing at the highs of the day. I know you and I have talked about that. Do you hold any weight to that? Does that ever influence potentially your decisions heading into tomorrow, or you're just using that 5-day moving average?
Well, as long as we're above that rising 5, then I look at it as innocent till proven guilty on the intermediate term with a big asterisk. And the asterisk is that we are at that anchor from the all-time high and a 38.2% retracement. So do you want to hold anything heavily long into that? And the answer for me is no. It doesn't mean it can't continue to move higher, but I start to look in here at this anchor from the high. And, I want to point out that, some people this morning were saying, hey, it's at resistance. We were only probing the level. We come up to these levels, whether we're down to them, whether it's an anchor or a simple moving average or a pivot or whatever it is. And we have to probe those for a while and see how the activity is around that action. And if it rejects it and turns away hard, then we can look at it and say, wow, look at how it had resistance there. Instead, we held above the week-to-date volume-weighted average price. That's a positive. So I was fighting a losing game in the Qs personally, Sean. I don't know what the psychology there was, but that's something I'm going to figure out after this.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's what we talk about, not trying to be, if you're going to be wrong, get out, reassess, reanalyze, because tomorrow there is another day. I wanted to ask you a quick thing, too, about April 2nd, which is going to be, I believe it's next Wednesday, I think, right? Yeah. And that's when all these tariffs, again, it's not really going to affect my long-term positioning on anything. Would you hold anything into that day? Do we think that this is just a random day of the week where President Trump's going to yay or nay some of these tariffs? What is your idea maybe heading into that? Because there's a lot of talk on our chat about what are we going to do that day? Do we just wait for the headlines to come out? Is it a risk-off day and then maybe April 3rd, once we sort of assess some of the levels that are given to us that day? Do you ever mentally prepare for a day like that? Or to you, are we just looking at levels and whatever news hits, and we sort of trade off of there? How do you play a big anticipated potential moving day like April 2nd maybe is?
Yeah, cautiously, Sean, just like a Federal Reserve Day or, CPI, or we have this PCE this week. We have to look at the market and say, okay, it might be a case of buy into that, and that's what's going on now. And if we're up, 4 more days heading into April 2nd, then it seems likely that any news would be sold into, and it would be a case of buy the rumor, sell the news. Everyone was expecting, from what I saw on Twitter last week, is everyone was thinking, well, we're going to stay down, we're going to keep selling off until April 2nd. Well, the market is, has been climbing this wall of worry on the anticipation of this news. So if we get a strong continued move, and let's say we continue up towards even, the 50-day moving average way up here, it's possible, but I don't think it's likely. If we have that, buy the rumor, sell the news possible. So it all depends on how we get, where we are at that event. If we're super extended, then I probably wouldn't want to be looking at it long. I'd want to let the dust settle, let other people get chopped up in between, and see how it comes out the other side.
Thank you so much for being here with us, Brian. I know you posted here about MRCY on X, saying that you have your eye on it as a potential long. Is this something you're still looking at based on the action we've had today, or what other kind of plays like this you haven't watched going forward?
Yeah, Adara, these are tough. And by the way, great job on those graphics. Those were really awesome. I didn't know it was you who was doing those, but really nice. MRCY, it's got a great looking chart, right? You look at the weekly time frame. it looks like it's got room to run. You look at the daily time frame, it's just tried to break out of this little consolidation pattern today. Fortunately, I had gotten involved, sold some up higher at daily R2, and now it's kind of right back down where it came from. I'm out of it again. It's just so hard to hold anything in this market that I just don't have the confidence that any breakouts are going to hold.
I wanted to, thanks. Yeah, it sort of teased that we were going to give a name that we had never really talked about, and we may never again. But MRCY, thanks for going through some of the, your methodologies there with what you're talking about. Look, since January 1st, I'm going to give you a tech name. Let's do one on the fly. Are you okay to look at something on the fly with me here? It's going to be Marvell Technology, so MRVL. Maybe I'll give you a second to quickly look. But my case is you're down 35% here year to date. So that's a pretty nasty move, obviously, in the chip space, right? Integrated circuits, data processing. I think they're in the good space to value with AI as well. And Marvell right here has fallen into, in my opinion, some decent levels. And it looks like it's trying to get going. I know it's still in the penalty box, Brian, but I'm not sure where I should be dropping any anchors, if there's any levels that maybe we should be looking at, because I just feel like we're bouncing again off of the 67. It's had a nice move back there to the upside. Absolutely clocked. I'm just looking to get this thing back to 85, maybe a quick out, as you had mentioned, not worry too much about the long term, but just maybe play some momentum. I know right now it's depressed asset. We're trying to hit a little bit of a home run maybe in the next couple weeks. You see anything on MRVL?
Yeah, well, you were mentioning it. I pulled it up here on my weekly chart and came back down to the most, important low that I could find, which was in January of 23. And that anchor ties right in with basically where we are. And then you go to the anchor from the high that we saw in, looks like 21, 22. And that was actually pretty much nailed the low here. So those are, it came down to, I guess, its worst case scenario coming down to these anchors. Then if we look at the daily time frame, it's still pretty ugly, but I could see that the case for a bounce. The question is, where do you say you're no longer interested?
Right.
Maybe it's below that little support band where we have the anchor from the low of last week. So continued move up like this. I could see it up towards that 85 level in the 200-day moving average, if that's what you're targeting.
Yeah, that's the target there. I mean, just a $62 billion company at this point, short float of 3%, so it's there. It's not huge. And then again, EPS of 60 cents. So they did get flashed down here on earnings, but they're still making money. Revenues over near $6 billion. So yeah, I do like that name. Okay, I also saw you mention something about Palantir today, and maybe, and again, sort of one question leading to the other here. This is a daily chart, but you had mentioned that it might have found supply between anchored VWAP between the all-time high and the year-to-date high. So we sort of went through some of the posts that you had up there. What are you thinking here about Palantir? You and I have talked about this name various times there. When it's gapped higher, what do we think about it? But what went up like an elevator, or I guess so, also fell like an elevator with Palantir. So this name now finally starting to catch a base. What do you think on PLTR?
It's a little extended here, Sean. It's just run from 75 to 100. So, we've got a 35% rally in here just off of the low of, 10, 12 days ago. And but the momentum is still higher. We now have a rising 20 and 50-day moving average. We got back above the anchor from the all-time high and the year-to-date right over here last Friday, and we're following through nicely on that. So the momentum is higher, and if you're long it, I think that, you got to be prepared to at least take some profit off in case let's say it breaks down like this. Then maybe look to reload it down near that 5-day moving average if it's going to continue to move higher. But I would say, you look at all these stocks and they're kind of bouncing. I don't know if we have, if I'd say it's confident enough to say we're holding, but worst case would be down here that it's just going to give it all up. That is about 91. Until it does that, though, I still think you definitely don't want to short this thing.
Right.
But it's susceptible to a little bit of profit taking just because it's had such a big run so quickly.
Thank you so much, Brian. We have one more question here from Rivian Millionaire in the chat about one sector, not really necessarily tech, but asking about Walmart, which I guess got hit a little bit today. We know healthcare and some of these other names were weak. So what are your thoughts on Walmart here, Brian?
Looks like it wants to test that 200-day moving average right down here at about 83. And, the trend has been lower. We've got a nice pattern of lower highs and lower lows. Often what we see is that we'll undercut this prior little low right here, especially in these blue chip stocks. We'll undercut the prior low briefly, maybe even undercut that 200-day moving average, and then you can start to look for a bounce candidate in there. Kind of similar to what we did in Apple right over here, is that we came down to that 2-year anchor, undercut it briefly, and then rallied. So that's the type of situation that I think, a stock like Walmart, it's getting beat up pretty badly here. Looking at the weekly chart, it's, coming down to that 40-week moving average. And these are the types of stocks that recover a lot better than the no-name stocks. So undercut of that low, I'd be on the alert for a possible reversal.
I like Walmart there. I also think Costco as well, very, very similar. Costco actually did dip below the 200 period and now finally starting to recover. You think Costco, you want to do another one quickly? You like Costco or Walmart? You just looked at Walmart there. I've been picking up some Costco. I just prefer, I'm looking a little bit more macro on a Costco name here. Just thinking I do like the fact that they do have the annual subscription. I think that gives them a little bit of revenue underneath. Not that that really does matter. But, in hard times, potentially Walmart may be the beneficiary. But I like Costco. I haven't seen it dip too much below the 50 period like we've just seen right there. But for me, this name has already kind of proved itself. It did bounce off this 900, again, giving it a nice little move higher here. So year to date on Costco, nice move here. Do you like that name? I mean, obviously it's pulled back a little bit. Walmart or Costco, gun to head?
Yeah, I'd say probably, Sean, I hate to go against you, but I think Walmart, just because, we've got this tremendous damage to this beautiful uptrend of these pattern of higher highs and higher lows. I think you've got to be alert and careful that if it rallies here, it might create a lower high and start to do this in Costco. It's not there yet, but I think the danger is greater there. It's still possible that Walmart might do the same thing as well. So, but Walmart looks just a little bit better to me.
Yeah, for me, I'm not really, I think similar. We're probably on the same page with a lot of this. I'm not ready to pull the trigger really on anything right now. Still sitting in some cash. I do wait for that April 2nd. All right, it's past 4:30, and I just want to say, if we come over to the screen quickly, this is where you can find this gentleman here, Brian Shannon at alphatrends.net. Go join him. Hit subscribe right there. Over 350,000 followers. We want to thank Brian for spending the afternoon with us. Over 3,500 have stayed late to join and to hear what you've talked about as well, Brian. So what is it, every day or a few times a week you're posting stuff up for your subscribed members there?
Oh, yeah, every day.
Every day. There it is. Okay, so content is king. Go ahead.
Can I ask you, your audience a favor, Sean? There's a little poll on StockTwits. If you're a member of StockTwits, go over there and vote for me for best educational content creator.
Yes.
It's a pretty close race, so I need your vote.
Good. Yeah, we will definitely do that.
I voted.
Oh, Dara's already voted. I'm going to,
Thank you,
Brian,
Dara.
I'm going to do one better. Tomorrow when we have over 11,000 people watching in and around 10:15, I'm going to set a note and we'll show it live then and make sure that everybody pushes that button and gets you going. And I had sent you a congrats as soon as I had sent it. Shout out to my wife who had saw it there on Twitter as well and mentioned to me. And she's like, oh, you guys know Brian. I'm like, oh, yeah. And so congratulations on that one. Again, one of the best in the business, Brian Shannon. And always a pleasure to have you on Trader TV Live. Trade well, and we'll see you next week.
Hit that bang button for me, Sean. Thank you.
Couple times. Thank you, Brian. There it is. That's Trader Talk.
Right.
See ya. All right, we're gonna hop in there and start voting. Right, we're gonna get that going tomorrow. So we'll put that up there for you, Brian. And again, a big fan, big friend and fan of the show. He talks about watching it all the time. So go support our good friend. And again, what an educator there, Brian Shannon. We talked about the book. Again, I've actually read this twice, so shout out to you, Brian, and thank you for throwing that to us here on the floor. All right, let's go, man. We do have one more thing to do. It's called roll call.
It is?
Yeah, something like that. This is something that we had come up with. There it is. Best educational content creator, says Daniel. So he agrees there as well. So what's up to Daniel? What's up to Daryl Flinch, one of our first ever guest traders on the show. Cool. Daryl, I want to bring that back. I mean, I brought it back with Chef Joe. Remember, we had a lot of fun with Chef Joe. What's up, Michelle? You want to come on as well? You've been here for a while. What's up to Michelle in there? Time Lights Out. I've never seen you, so what's up to there? Spinning those slots on a lucky 21. Can you do something for him or her. Yeah, 21. Los Polos Hermanos, get those chicken sandies going. Theirs as well. Shout out to Bears versus Bulls, Daniel Silverado. I don't know, you see anybody else? I mean, there's not too many
We have
people
Why
posting.
Not in the chat. We have Skirt in the chat. We've got Damian Tarza, Joseph Brown, Hold My Beer, Walt Winchell. We've got Derek Blakely, Ronaldo Options, Jay Boss, Charlie Taff, 37s, Q Trader, 21. Tim Gin at Bristol Viper Trader. Thank you so much to everyone. Thank you to Bears versus Bulls for being
All right,
with
so I
us.
kind of have a new one. So this is a burrito. So what's inside your burrito? Like what's falling out? Cilantro. There, you got a little. Is it what? Like what do you prefer? Fish taco, pulled pork. No, cilantro's great.
Yeah, I like fish. Al pastor, like the pork. Or like the chicken. I've been getting to birria lately too, though. So I'm like,
so there we go.
I live by Kensington, so there's a lot of Mexican food.
Oh, good. Yeah. My brother lives. My brother. My oldest lives there.
Oh, nice.
Baxter lives there. Yeah, right on Kensington Avenue. So, shout out to everybody for watching. Thank you so much, and a big thank you so much to Brian and Ramin. That's been. I mean, I haven't seen her out of that chair all day, so I don't know if she's glued there or what, but shout out to Ramin. Thank you so much for sitting there. Well, hopefully Fabian feels better and we can get him back running that board as well. So from everybody here, Adara as well, good look on those glasses. I see a lot of comments today, so that's been great. So thank you so much, and see us tomorrow at 8:30. I promise we'll be back. Have a great evening.